Everybody, I'm Mike Greenberg, and welcome to ESPN Classic's presentation of the pitching duel between Boston's Pedro Martinez and the Yankees' Roger Clemens on May 28th in the year 2000. You know, every once in a while, two pitchers go head-to-head, and they make you stop and truly appreciate the often forgotten art of pitching. A sellout crowd of better than 55,000 wandered into a classic at Yankee Stadium as Martinez and Clemens painted 0 after 0 on the scoreboard all the way into the ninth inning. Both former Cy Young winners were dominant, tossing complete games. Clemens struck out 13, didn't allow a runner to second base until the 7th inning. Martinez struck out 9 and gave up just 9 hits, completing another shutout. There was only one mistake in the ballgame. Clemens made it to trot Nixon in the top of the 9th. Joining me now is baseball expert Tim Kirkjian. And Tim, everyone who saw this game knew immediately they were seeing something special. Can you put it in some sort of context considering the pitchers that were involved?
Well, the pitchers involved include Pedro Martinez, who in 1999 had one of the top 10 pitching seasons in the history of the game. The best pitcher in the game today, Pedro Martinez, against Roger Clemens, another first ballot Hall of Famer, the best pitcher in the history of the Red Sox, meeting on a Sunday night at the big ballpark in the Bronx. Nothing is better than that.
Are there past pitching performances you can think of off the top of your head that compare to that in terms of the magnitude of the rivalry and then actually living up to the hype?
Well, there have been a lot that have rivaled this, certainly. You know, you go back to the 1968 World Series, Game 1, Denny McLain, 31-game winner against Bob Gibson, 1.12 ERA. First game of the World Series, that's pretty good. And you can find Juan Marichal against Sandy Koufax in the 60s, Gibson against Koufax in the 60s, and many since. But I thought the interesting part about this was it was a fabulous pitching matchup in an era when there are so few of them. I mean, the average score of a game today is basically 6-5, with home runs being hit all over the place. And now we got guys throwing strikeout after strikeout. And the beauty of this to me was that Clemens is not the Clemens of old. We all know that. He's not the Clemens of 15 years ago. He's not even the Clemens of 3 years ago. But he found a way to get up for this game to the point where he was blowing people away, and to strike out 13 when he's not the great Roger Clemens that he used to be, I thought showed what this thing is all about.
It was a remarkable performance, and then you factor in also the rivalry between these teams. You know this is a game that will be remembered for an awfully long time, particularly by Red Sox fans. ESPN's John Miller and Joe Morgan called the game, and they had these thoughts a few weeks later after that memorable evening in the Bronx.
Well, it was a night to remember. The way it turned out was certainly a great game, a great matchup, and often, Joe, they don't turn out that way.
Well, you get all the anticipation, and then one of the pitchers usually gets knocked out or he doesn't pitch up to his capabilities. But on this particular night, we had both pitchers at the top of their game, and they controlled the ball game very well.
And I thought Roger Clemens really made the night. I mean, Pedro Martinez is so strong right now that you expect that he's going to pitch a great game. Roger Clemens had been in and out with the Yankees, but when he regained that great form of Roger Clemens at his best, I thought that's where the real drama and the real excitement came in.
I actually thought he pitched better than Pedro in the normal circumstances. He just ran out of gas a little sooner, and he made the mistake late in the ballgame. But other than that, he was in better control than Pedro was.
Roger Clemens, arguably the greatest Red Sox pitcher until Pedro Martinez. And there he was against the Red Sox in Yankee Stadium. The two hated rivals, those longtime rivals, 56,000 fans there, and they were tied for first place. You could hardly have that confluence of events and have everything work out the way it did. I mean, that was just one for the ages, I thought.
Well, I think it was, and maybe the best ball game that I have had a chance to broadcast in a regular season up to this point.
All right. So, Pedro against the Rocket, Yankee Stadium. Enjoy the game.
Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens, the classic duel, May 28th in the year 2000, right here on ESPN Classic.
Tonight in the big city, all roads lead to the big ballpark in the Bronx, as Reggie Jackson used to call it. Tonight, Sunday Night Baseball from Yankee Stadium. It's the Red Sox and the Yankees renewing hostilities. It's the house that Ruth built, and so many greats have played here. Ruth, Gehrig, and tonight we've got some of the greats of the game as well. In fact, two great pitchers. The only man ever to win 5 Cy Young Awards, Roger Clemens, on the mound for the Yankees, but he's up against the best in the game today, a 2-time Cy Young winner, including last year, Pedro Martinez. in the standings, the Red Sox and Yankees. So many great pennant race battles over the years. And tonight in this, the rubber match of this series, they are in a flat-footed tie for first in the American League East. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan, and welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. 55,000 people are here. It feels like October baseball. In fact, it's a little coolish. It feels like October on the temperature scale as well. But we got the great matchup here tonight. The last time Clemens and Pedro met was in the playoff game last October. That was a nightmare for the Rocket. Tonight, he's hoping to get back against Pedro, who, when he's right, can be almost untouchable.
Well, the last time Pedro pitched here at Yankee Stadium, he had 17 strikeouts to go along with that. But the thing I think about when I think of Pedro Martinez, he is a very smart pitcher. Most people just see him dominating hitters, but he seems to know what the hitters are thinking. He has 3 great pitches: fastball, curveball, and a magnificent changeup. And he loves to pitch here in New York, so he's the kind of guy that you'd hate to have to face when he's on. And Roger Clemens, he has 2 great pitches, a good fastball and a splitter. The key for Clemens is he'll have to throw strikes. He has to get ahead in the count because he needs people to chase the splitter out of the strike zone. He does have a 4-1 record here at home, so I think that's to his advantage.
All right, and there are lots of great players on these 2 ball clubs, including 2 great shortstops. Nomar Garcia-Parra, he returned for the disabled list yesterday for Boston. He went 1 for 3 and had a walk. And Derek Jeter of the Yankees, and he just came right in here as if he hadn't missed a day. He was 3 for 4 as the Yankees won yesterday's game.
Well, I actually think the Yankees missed Derek Jeter more than the Red Sox missed Garcia-Parra. In fact, the Yankees were 4 and 8 while when Derek Jeter was out. Garcia-Parra, the Boston Red Sox, were 8 and 5. I just think that Derek Jeter is so important to this ball club because he hits at the top of the lineup and he gets on base for Bernie Williams and the other guys to drive in.
All right, are you up for it?
I'm up for it.
All right, 55,000 people are here. We're up for it. And so, too, is the Rocket. Garcia-Parra is back in the lineup. Clemens will have to try to get him out. Pedro on the mound with the Red Sox. Stay tuned.
This ESPN Classic program is presented by Miller Lite. For the coolest stuff in the world, go to MillerGetTheGoods.com.
There it is. Let's go.
On the left.
Want to get the coolest stuff in the world? Go to Miller's Get the Goods online auction. Find tons of cool stuff. Plus a chance to help a charity. Details at MillerGetTheGoods.com and wherever you buy Miller Lite.
Don't wait up.
The more you do something, the better you get. State Farm's been settling car insurance claims for over 75 years. Millions of them. We've come up with a system that works so well that more drivers trust State Farm than all those cut-rate insurance companies put together. You're buying into that promise that we're going to be there to take care of you when the claim happens. Every day, State Farm handles over 30,000 claims. It's a practice makes perfect thing. That's the reason the competition doesn't stand a chance.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Think these major leaguers have power?
Forget this one.
That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Craig. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com. As close to the game as you can get.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is presented by Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance fuel additives. And in part by Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
It opened in 1923, and this has been the scene of more World Series games, more World Series championships than any other venue, Yankee Stadium. And there's Jimmy Williams hoping to lead his Red Sox to the top, something that Boston has not done since 1918. They have not won a World Series, or in other words, since they traded the Babe to the Yankees. Here's the Red Sox Pepsi batting order. Jeff Fry at second base in place of the injured Jose Offerman, and he has been red hot. It'll be Trot Nixon in right field. Brian Daubach, the designated hitter. Nomar Garcia-Parra back in the lineup at shortstop. Carl Everett having an outstanding year. He's in center field. Mike Stanley at first base. Troy O'Leary battling a slump in left field. John Valentin at third base. And Jason Varitek is the catcher batting ninth. And the pitcher for the Red Sox tonight, or for so many years for the Red Sox, his second year with the Yankees, and there he is, the Rocket, Roger Clemens.
And John, I did the game here 2 Wednesdays ago, and Roger Clemens was excellent. He had a great fastball. He got ahead of the hitters, and he had them chasing the splitter. Last time out, he got knocked around a little bit, but he had great stuff that night as well. So the key for Roger is his control. If he can get ahead of the hitters early, establish his fastball, I think he'll be successful.
Moments before the game, after he completed his warm-ups in the bullpen, he went over and got a little of that Babe Ruth mojo, and with that shake of the fist, that kind of was reminiscent of what he did after he warmed up before the final game of last year's World Series, which he won with a great dominating performance over the Atlanta Braves.
And this is the defense behind him. They're just glad to have Jeter back. As I said, Jeter is kind of the glue that holds this team together. And they just feel much better when he's at the top of the lineup. Plus, he's a great defensive shortstop.
Jeter, who had a pulled oblique muscle in the left rib cage, and he said it was really a disabling injury there for several days. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't run, he couldn't throw, he couldn't bat. He said at times it hurt just to walk. And now we're getting ready to start. Jeff Fry will lead it off against Roger Clemens. 55,000 in here again tonight. The third straight sellout over the weekend with the Red Sox in town. This ballpark opened, as we said, in 1923. It was a Red Sox-Yankees game in April of 23, and Babe Ruth, the former Red Sox, hit a home run in a Yankee win. And this ball went too low, so a little of that Babe Ruth charisma, that little Babe Ruth magic, Roger Clemens is hoping will rub off on him tonight as he faces the Red Sox. The last time he faced them was in that playoff game at Fenway last October. That was a nightmare. Ooh. Apparently a little bit high. Ed Rapawano, the home plate umpire. 2 balls and no strikes. Trot Nixon and Brian Daubach to follow. The Red Sox won the first game of the series Friday night behind Ramon Martinez. The Yankees equalized yesterday. That fastball is in there for a called strike. And one thing that we should bring out, because of yesterday's ball game, when El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, injured his back during warm-ups and could not make the start, the Yankees got 5 innings from Jason Grimsley coming out of the bullpen, and then 3 innings from reliever Mike Stanton. So the bullpen's a little bit thin tonight. They need some innings from Roger. Foul into the upper deck, off to the right. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, we've seen Roger range from about 95 high to 91. He dropped down to 91 to throw the 2-0 fastball for a strike. So he has his good fastball tonight, and it looks like it has great movement on it. And you can always tell how good a game he's going to have by the first couple of innings.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Back to Clemens. Run away.
Well, that shows he's got confidence in the slider tonight. That's the first time he has thrown it. Threw 4 fastballs, got 2 balls, 2 strikes for a good slider right over the outside corner. Watch the location. It's the slide right on the outside corner. Look at that. Slider down and away, and Fry hits the top of it. Right back to Roger.
Now Trot Nixon will come up. Nixon is hitting .318, 5 homers, 27 batted in. 1 down, nobody on. Strike and it's 0-1.
When you look at Rogers' statistics, John, they're kind of interesting in that right-handed hitters are hitting 280 against him, and left-handed hitters are hitting 239. That tells you that his splitter is really working well against the left-handed hitters.
Too high with the fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, he came to the Yankees from Toronto, and he had 2 outstanding years in Toronto. In his last 40 starts with the Blue Jays, he was 21-9 with a 2.71 ERA. In his first 40 starts with the Yankees, 18-14 and a 4.52 ERA. Good fastball at 95 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And this is what he tries to do, get ahead of you. And now here's this. He has the splitter that he can go to, or he can get you to try to chase the fastball up and out of the strike zone. There's the splitter. And that pitch, you can see how the movement down and away, that's why he can be so successful against left-handed hitters.
Drawback on deck. Another splitter, and he took it. 3-2.
Good discipline at the plate there by Nixon, because that pitch started near the strike zone and really the bottom fell out.
37-year-old Roger Clemens. He turned 38 in August. 3-2 the count. Strike 3 called.
And Roger gets his first strikeout. Like I said, he's very successful against left-handers this year. And he just paints the outside corner with a fastball. Watch, it's moving away from Nixon. And Ed Rapuano says strike 3.
Ed Rapuano, a longtime National League umpire. Now a Major League umpire.
There is a difference, huh?
Pop up. Now he works both leads. Derek Jeter calls off Brocious. Dahlback has gone on 1 pitch, and it's a 3-up, 3-down first inning for Roger Clemens. Now Jeter himself will be coming up second against Pedro Martinez.
Hey guys, listen up. You want a competitive edge in the gym, at work, even in the bedroom? Want to look and feel great every day? Then you've got to know about Men's Health. It's packed with information that can change your life. Workout tips that burn away that belly and build loads of muscle. Stress-busting techniques that put you back in charge of your life. And wait until you see what it does for your love life. With Men's Health, she'll forget every other man she's ever met. Let's go to Chicago. Lori?
Matt, the response is incredible. Women say men who read Men's Health know secrets about driving them while other guys don't. And right now, Men's Health is making an unbelievable offer. Get a free trial issue plus 3 guidebooks free. Power Nutrition, Amazing Abs Made Easy, and Drive Women Wild.
Guys, you can't afford to miss out on Men's Health. Call now for your free trial issue. Continue and get a year's worth of sex tips, workout tricks, and nutrition secrets, plus 3 fabulous guidebooks free. Call now. Men's Health. Hey, this is tons of useful stuff.
Paying bills has been difficult since my husband got hurt. Bill collectors called day and night. We thought of bankruptcy, but then a friend told us about Garden State.
Garden State is a non-profit agency that works with your creditors to make an affordable payment plan for all your bills.
After speaking with our counselor, we saved thousands of dollars in interest. Thank you, Garden State.
Get your bills together and call now for your free consultation. We can help you get out of debt. Call 1-800-99-BILL.
Watching ESPN Classics presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28th, 2000.
Sunday Night Baseball from New York City. Red Sox nothing. The Yankees coming up. And there's Joe Torre. And in the Torre era here in New York, the Yankees have, in a franchise of greatness, have been particularly great. 3 World Series titles in 4 years. And the average year under Torre has been about 100 wins. Here's the Yankees Pepsi starting lineup. It'll be Chuck Knobloch back in the lineup at second base. Derek Jeter back for his second game off the disabled list. At shortstop, Paul O'Neill in right, Bernie Williams in center, Jorge Posada, the catcher. Tino Martinez at first. Shane Spencer, the DH. Ricky Leday in left. Scott Brocious at third. And on the mound for Boston, there he is, Pedro Martinez.
And Pedro, like I said, has 3 quality pitches. I mean, he has an overpowering fastball, a great curveball, and a magnificent changeup. And he just throws strikes with all pitches at any time.
Fastball on the outside, and it's 0-1 to Knobloch.
There are 2 schools of thought on how to hit him. One is to be patient, try to get him deep into the count. The other is to attack him first. I think you have to go after him. I would hate to be behind in the count against a guy that has so many great pitches.
First baseman Stanley, foul territory, and Knobloch is gone, 1 away.
And that's what I'm talking about. You see a guy, he makes a fastball on the outside corner, you take it. Now he rides the fastball up and in, and that's very difficult for a right-handed hitter to handle. And there's the defense for the Red Sox. Omar Garcia-Parra is back. He, like Jeter, the glue to this infield.
I remember one of the lingering feelings from the postseason last year with the Red Sox really struggled defensively last year. Count is 0-1.
Well, you see Jeter going up there with my theory, swing. The 93-mile-an-hour fastball. He was a little late on it, but I think you have to attack Pedro.
1 strike the count. But the fist foul.
John, I think also the fact that he faced some Double-A pitching before he came here. He had a good game yesterday. I don't think anyone's had the fastball that Pedro's had. And so far, that's all he's thrown. But in the back of the hitter's mind, they know that he has a great curveball and a great changeup. So that's always in the back of your mind. That makes the fastball get on you just a little quicker.
And he fouls that one off to the right. Jeter with 4 hits in 19 career at-bats against Pedro. And in 9 of those 19 at-bats, Jeter has struck out. Nearly half. 0-2. Changed up on him. And this is going to be a base hit.
It may look like a cheap hit, but let's face it, he fought off all fastballs, and then he came with the changeup, and usually that's a strikeout pitch for Pedro after that many fastballs. And there's the changeup, but Jeter stays right on it. You see his head is on it. Watch his head. He stays right there, just trying to make contact, and he does put the ball in play. And anytime you put the ball in play, you have a chance of getting a base hit, because that is usually a strikeout pitch right there for Pedro Martinez.
Now, Jeter can also steal a base, and Pedro last year allowed 21 steals in games that he started. O'Neill, the hitter, too low. The first hitter that he has not started with a strike. Pedro had 21 steals against him in his starts last year, but also 10 who were thrown out trying to steal. Jeter with 9 steals, 8th best in the league, even though he spent time in the disabled list. Only been thrown out 1 time. Up to the screen. O'Neill rolled over his ankle and it played the wall in yesterday's game. And Joe Torre was really fearful that O'Neill was going to have to be taken out of the game, maybe even miss a few days. But O'Neill stayed in the lineup, and he says there's a little stiffness in that left ankle tonight. And during batting practice, he was there flexing it and working on it with the trainer between his batting practice at-bats. O'Neill, I think, he plays better when something's wrong. He always got something wrong. Those lingering shots of him in the '97 postseason when he had that hamstring pull, and yet played beautifully. Change up, a check swing, and appeal to the third base umpire, Bill Miller, denied.
And John, one of the reasons that it's tough to steal off Pedro consistently is because he does pay attention to the runner at first base. A lot of great pitchers do not concern themselves as much with a runner at first base. Pedro works to hold him close.
Big hole on the right side with Jeter over there. The outfield shaded a bit toward left against O'Neill. 2-1 the count. Jeter was a little late actually going into that dive.
Well, he was on his way to second base. He was about to take a step. And watch, he makes a see right there. He buckled, his knees buckled. He started to go to second base or towards second. I don't know if he was going to steal, but he was making his break.
2-1. Give a little slide step. This could be two. Garcia prior to second one. Fly to first. Two. Double play. Just like that, the Yankees are gone. Garcia Parra coming up, then Everett when we come back.
You better believe a pain like this from a soul like this will go on like this, live on like this, and look like this, give you pride like this, 'cause it's true.
It's True Value paint, and you can't do better. It really is this good.
Goes on like this, lives on like this, looks like this, pride like this.
True Value paint. Great paint, great store.
Look, here comes another one.
Everybody's going to Burger King to eat more beef and save the chickens from the new movie Chicken Run. And what better way to eat more beef than with a delicious flame-broiled Whopper, especially now that you can get two for just $2. Think about it. 2 tasty Whoppers served your way for just $2? Hey, with 2 Whoppers for just $2, you can save a lot of chickens.
This Sunday, ESPN Classic presents a real classic that's a smash hit. It's Long Gone. Right there! A gripping tale about a pitcher. My name's Stud. Who liked to play the field and always covered his bases.
Kind of late getting home, ain't you, honey?
You'll root for the home team in this cinematic Grand Slam. It's real classics. It's Long Gone. Sunday night at 9, only on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
No score after 1 inning from Yankee Stadium, and that's the view from high overhead, courtesy of the Gumout aerial cam. They've made the trip here to the big city with us. We're glad to have them. Nomar Garcia Parra. He had a hamstring problem. Slider for a strike. Garcia Parra hitting .346, but only 2 home runs, 19 batted in. So definitely, with Garcia Parra, the best is yet to come. On the inside corner, strike 2 call.
And we see Roger Clemens at his best right there. Good slider, knee high over the outside corner. And then he comes back with a fastball on the inside corner.
Garcia Parra led the league in hitting last year, .357, and the splitter for the strikeout.
That's a hitter's nightmare, not being able to see any pitches 2 consecutive times in the at-bat, not being able to see 2 fastballs or 2 sliders or 2 curveballs. He saw 3 different speeds, a slider, a fastball, and a splitter, all 3 different speeds. And he's not even close to this one. That's a great splitter right there, especially no balls and 2 strikes.
1 down. Now Carl Everett, the big offseason acquisition of the Red Sox. He had been with Houston. And thus far, as the slider is taken too low, he has been everything the Red Sox had hoped for. Hitting .331, 14 homers, 42 batted in. Some feel we had the 2 best center fielders in the American League in this game tonight. Up the middle, base hit. The big turn at first by Everett, but he holds on as Bernie Williams, the Yankee center fielder, gets it back in. Everett, who had been in the Yankee farm system, and this week in the New York Times, he was the subject of a column in which he had been very critical of the Yankees.
Just the fastball out over the middle of the plate, and he rips it right back through the middle for a base hit.
So Everett is aboard. He's also capable of stealing a base. He has 5 steals so far this year. The batter will be Mike Stanley. Stanley, take a look at his knees. He's got braces on both knees. And he has been slumping here in the month of May. And surely, Joe, if you got problems with both knees, that's got to affect your hitting.
Anytime you have problems with your legs, it's going to affect your hitting, because most hitters use their legs to generate bat speed. So what it does is makes you swing with just the upper part of your body, so you're not going to have the same bat speed you would have if your legs were healthy.
Tino Martinez on the bag at first with Everett. Stanley, dangerous home run hitter. Got 9 home runs so far this year, but only hitting .236. He's out. Clemens has picked him off.
A great tag by Tino. He caught the ball and made the swipe all in one motion. And the first base umpire, Brian Runge, says he got him in the air. Now watch the tag. You see, he was leaning the wrong way as well. And Tino Martinez, watch the quick tag by Tino.
And there's a called strike to Stanley with 2 down and nobody on. It was a very close play at first. Brian Runge made the call. Splitter too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, for the Yankee fans, that was ever so sweet that Clemens picked somebody off, but in particular that it was Everett. That's a foul.
But John, both pitchers caught the base runners leaning. Martinez caught Jeter leaning, but he was able to get back. And of course, Clemens caught Everett leaning. Both of them looked like they were about to break for second base. And the pitchers, as I said, they're both concentrating on holding the runners, and that's what you have to do. Whether you pick them off or not is not really that important, but the fact that you keep them close and give your catcher a chance to throw them out if they do go.
Pedro Martinez, the Red Sox ace, watching the former Red Sox ace. Roger Clemens on the mound. 2 down, nobody out. No score, second inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Stanley. Struck him out. The high hard one. 3 strikeouts for the Rocket. Last of the second, Bernie Williams coming up. There is no score.
This might be a good time to talk about the Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
Think these major leaguers have power? Get this one. That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Craig. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com. As close to the game as you can get.
Babe Ruth.
He did think that he was bigger than baseball.
Bobby Orr.
Changed the game of hockey more than any player ever did.
Ted Williams is the John Wayne of sports.
Lawrence Taylor.
I was set up like a motherfucking Mickey Mantle.
Women threw themselves off of 9-story buildings.
Joe DiMaggio.
He thought his wife should be publicly exposing herself.
Sports Century. All new original episodes premiere Monday, July 10th at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gum Out. Red Sox nothing, Yankees nothing. Last of the second inning. And a reminder, the NHL Stanley Cup Finals are soon to be upon us. The Dallas Stars and the New Jersey Devils. It gets started Tuesday at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. Game 2 will be on June the 1st again, and then every other game will be on ABC. Pop fly by Bernie Williams, and the shortstop, Garcia Parra, out there to grab it. So Bernie is gone on one pitch.
How about them Devils, man? Coming from 3 games to 1 down and playing for the Stanley Cup.
Well, the first 2 games, Thursday game 2, and then game 3 on Saturday. That'll be on ABC, and every other game throughout the rest of the series, however long it goes, will be seen on ABC Sports. And there's the schedule for games 5, 6, and 7, if necessary. And I think for a change, they should be necessary this year.
I think there probably will be. They're 2 very good teams.
Jorge Posada. Bernie Williams retired. 10 homers and 40 batted in for Bernie, so getting him on one pitch is certainly a bonus. And the curveball to Posada in there for a strike. Posada, the Yankees' regular catcher. Joe Girardi went to the Cubs. And Posada doing a great job. Great job behind the plate and an even better job hitting. He's hitting .349. 10 homers, 25 batted in, but he's in a quick hole here. 0-2 the count. Curveball a little bit low.
That was a really good curveball right there. A great 0-2 pitch. Only Posada's discipline kept him from swinging at that.
Curveball for the strikeout.
So I think once you get behind Pedro, you get to 1-2 or 0-2. You're in serious trouble. You just have to become defensive because he has such a variety of pitches to throw at you, and then he just gets you to chase it. He took the 0-2 curveball, but here's another one. Look at this. Look at this. The bottom just falls out of it. And that's his first strikeout.
The last time he pitched here at Yankee Stadium, as you mentioned at the outset of the telecast, Joe, he had 17 strikeouts, the most ever against the Yankees in the Yankees' long history. Tino Martinez starts him with a curveball and misses inside. Tino, 268, only 4 home runs. In that ball game last September the 10th, Pedro, in addition to having 17 strikeouts, had no walks and only gave up 1 hit.
And the guy that got the hit is no longer here.
Center field, Everett. The Yankees go down 1-2-3. The Rocket and Pedro starting strongly. No score after 2.
If you've ever missed a phone call when you were online, Sprint's got a great new way to stay in touch. Introducing Sprint 1000 with Sprint Internet Call Waiting. Just switch to Sprint 1000 at 1-800-PIN-DROP, and you can get 1,000 minutes of long distance for just $20 a month. That's as low as 2 cents a minute. And when you sign up now, you'll get free Sprint Internet Call Waiting, so you'll never miss an incoming call when you're online. No need for a second phone line. Answer it or take a message. The choice is yours. And with Sprint 1000 nights, there are no surprises. You can call all night long, 7 days a week, for as low as 2 cents a minute. Plus, you'll get free Sprint Internet Call Waiting. Solutions by Nortel Networks. To laugh, to chat, to stay connected. It's an offer too good to pass up.
That's the power of 2. Anything more would be too much. Call now and get free Sprint Internet Call Waiting and never miss another call when you're online. Call 1-800-PIN-DROP now.
You know, ideas and inventions come from people in all walks of life. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? If so, Invention Submission Corporation has information to help you get started. ISC is America's largest inventor service firm. Call now and learn how to submit your idea to companies through ISC's data bank and apply for a patent. Even if your idea is just to improve an existing product, call for ISC's free information.
For your inventor's information, call 1-800-754-0077.
ESPN Classic is coming to you live, celebrating 2 whole days of the greatest sports in Baltimore and Washington, D.C. history. From Cal Ripken becoming baseball's new Iron Man, to John Wiggins powering the Skins to a Super Bowl win. ESPN Classic is the place to see your hometown heroes. So remember, join Stuart Scott live for 2 days of the Beltway's Best. Patriot Games, Classic Baltimore, D.C. starts Friday at noon only on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
Times Square. Right in the heart of the theater district, 47th and Broadway right there. And meanwhile, up here in the Bronx, the big ballpark, no score after 2 innings. Clemens and Pedro have both started well. Troy O'Leary. Now, he's a guy that the Red Sox would like to see get going. He has been in a slump throughout this month. O'Leary hitting only .222 for the year. 5 homers, only 16 batted in. He was a 100 RBI man for them last year.
And he had some big hits in this series against Cleveland to help get them in position to play the Yankees for the American League Championship last year.
Hit .280, had 28 homers, 103 batted in. Drove in 83 the year before and 80 the year before that. Troy O'Leary, 30 years old. Well, Rogers got a little
giddy up on that
That's
fastball.
it. I was looking for that phrase.
Yeah, he got a little giddy up on it. He has good movement, and I noticed that in the first inning, his ball was really live. And you can see Joe Torre agrees with us. He's nodding there.
2-2 the count.
Stottlemyre, Mel, the pitching coach.
Todd's dad.
Yeah.
Todd Stottlemyre. That's Mel on the right. Todd, his son, has won 8 games this year so far for Arizona.
Man, good fastball, just moved off the outside corner.
John Valentin and Jason Varitek will follow. There's Mel Stottlemyre. An outstanding pitcher here for the Yankees. Back in the 60s and into the 70s. 3-2 the count. Right field. O'Neill got plenty of room. The edge of the warning track. 1 away.
John, I want to take a moment. Home plate umpire Ed Rapuano wanted me to send along his condolences and the rest of the crew to Greg Bonet, whose mother passed away. Her name was Ruby. And we want to send our condolences along as well to Greg. There's Ed Rapuano, home plate umpire.
1 out, nobody on. John Valentin. Slider misses. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, I'm sure Greg Bonet appreciates it. An excellent umpire. And doing their jobs on a daily basis, they're not going to get much sympathy for anything that happens in their lives. So I'm glad you passed that remembrance along. 2 balls and no strikes to Valentin.
There's John Shulock. He's the crew chief.
Ball strike down around the knees. 2-1 now to Valentin. Valentin has only played in 8 games this year with injury problems. He got 2 homers.
And 2 RBIs.
Slider misses a little bit low. 3-1. He was one of the heroes when they made that dramatic comeback in the division series against Cleveland. They were down 2-0 in the best-of-5 series. And Valentin almost single-handedly fueled the comeback with a couple of 3-run homers in Game 3 of that series. And then everybody else joined in the next 2 games. The shortstop right to Jeter. Out number 2. 2 down, nobody on in the 3rd inning. No score in the game. Be sure and log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the most complete baseball coverage on the internet. It's all there. Check it out. MajorLeagueBaseball.com. Now Jason Varitek, a switch hitter, the Boston catcher, hitting .308, 2 homers, 13 batted in. 2 down, nobody on. Clemens has given up 1 hit. That was to Carl Everett. And it's 0-1 to Varitek. But he picked Everett off, so if he gets Varitek here, he will have faced the minimum number of hitters through 3.
When the game started, it looked like he was just kind of hyped up. He was overthrowing a little bit. Now I think he's settled into a groove, and he just feels that you can see the rhythm is a little better.
I mean, that is a hard split-fingered pitch, 88 miles an hour. 0-2 the count. Just got a piece of that one. It stays alive. 0-2 the count. I asked Posada if Clemens threw a changeup, and he said that he will throw a changeup off his splitter. So I guess you got a couple of different speeds in that split-fingered pitch. Well, it seems like we've seen the hard splitter so far tonight from the Rocket. 0-2 the count. Fastball off the outside.
And the reason the split-fingered fastball is so effective is because it looks like a fastball out of his hand, but you can't read any rotation on it, so it looks like a straight fastball. It gets to the plate about 10 feet out in front of the plate. It just drops straight down.
The splitter too low. 2-2 the count. Posada says that Clemens is easy to catch. But he said when he first started catching it, because last year usually Joe Girardi did the catching when Clemens pitched. He said at first it was very difficult. Clemens throws a very heavy ball. So once he learned Roger, he said it was very easy to work him behind the plate. That slider off the outside. So from 0-2, it's gone to 3-2. Leadoff man Jeff Fry is on deck. He said he was tough to catch at first because when things were going well for him, he did have a lot of movement on his pitches. 3-2 the count. And the split-fingered pitch is tapped foul, so Veritek stays alive.
And John, the difference between hitting against Pedro and hitting against Roger is that everything Roger throws is hard. For instance, this is the splitter again, but it's hard. Pedro, you always have to have in the back of your mind that he can change speeds, and he has a great changeup. So that makes his fastball that much more effective. But everything Roger throws is hard. You just have to make up your mind very quickly whether you're going to swing or not.
3-2. Struck him out. Clemens has 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. The last third of the Yankee batting order coming up now against Pedro. No score.
Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing. Gotta keep moving. Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing. Gotta keep moving. Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing. Gotta keep moving. Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Sam Adams, the world's most award-winning beers.
Don't stop. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
Think these major leaguers have power?
Forget this one.
That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Craig. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com, as close to the game as you can get.
Football Classics, Wednesdays at 9, only on ESPN Classic. Are you old school?
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gummout. The Red Sox nothing, the Yankees nothing. Now the Yankees in the last of the third inning. Each pitcher has faced the minimum number of hitters thus far, although each team has a hit. Fastball for a strike to Shane Spencer. Spencer, 257 average, 8 homers, 23 batted in. He's the DH tonight. Ricky Leday on deck, then Scott Brocious. A hard curveball low and outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. You see the numbers for Shane Spencer. He's got a lot of power. 8 home runs and only 140 at bats. That breaking ball down and away. 2-1 the count. Pedro Martinez, only 5 feet 11 inches tall, only 170 pounds. There's only one pitcher under 6 feet tall who made the Hall of Fame. Oh, nice pitch right on the outside corner. Strike 2, 2-2. That was the Yankee great, Whitey Ford. Yeah, that's it. You know your Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but I also know the short Hall of Famers.
Curveball is too low, 3-2. What, you guys kind of huddle together over in the corner there when you're up in Cooperstown?
No, when I talk to him, I can talk to him like this. I don't have to look up.
Hate those tall Hall of Famers. 3-2 the count now to Shane Spencer. Ooh, man. That's ball 4. Well, Pedro pitching inside there. He talked to us about his reputation for pitching inside.
The results are out there. 2 Cy Young, 1 in each league. I don't need to mention the things that I've done to prove that pitching inside works. And, you know, it's not just the level of being a headhunter that's going to work to my advantage. It's the fact that I'm going to pitch inside. And if they want to put that in their mind, that's applause for me.
Ricky Leday, the hitter, strike called on the outside.
Well, I think he explained that very well. I mean, that's the way he's going to pitch. He was taught to pitch to use the inside part of the plate as well as the outside part of the plate. And if the hitters are conscious of the fact that he might come inside and that fear factor comes into play, it just helps him all the more.
0-1 to Leday. Changeup too low, and that was kind of boxed awkwardly by the catcher Baratek. 1 ball, 1 strike.
John, I think that reputation kind of started with him when he was in the National League because he was trying to pitch inside and he was a young pitcher and he didn't have that great control, and every once in a while the ball would get away inside.
And you're talking about that label of
a headhunter.
Headhunter, yeah. That's a foul.
And I remember Filippo Lou saying that he wasn't throwing at hitters. He was just trying to pitch inside. The ball would get away from him. But again, I think he has used that to his advantage. And he has hit 5 batters this season, which is not an enormous amount.
Clemens is at 4. Clemens has that reputation among a lot of hitters as well. 1-2. Oh, man. Right there, inside corner at the knees. And Leday stays to talk it over with Ed Rapuano.
I think Leday thought that ball was low. It's a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and he thinks it's down.
Leday hit a home run yesterday. There's some Pedro Martinez fans out on the bleachers. Pedro's got his own rooting section out there. And I hope there's a lot of them, and then they have some big guys around him. Scott Brocious, the hitter. Spencer over at first, and that curveball snaps in there for a called strike.
John, one more thing about pitching inside. Pitching inside is an art. Just like Greg Maddux and the Atlanta staff basically pitch to the outside corner, Pedro pitches inside and outside. But it's not easy to pitch inside because you do not want to miss over the middle of the plate. So if you miss off the plate in, and that's when you knock a lot of hitters down.
Back out of play. 0-2 the count to Brocious. Leadoff man Chuck Knobloch is on deck. Pedro Martinez speaks English and Spanish fluently. And he grew up speaking Spanish. But as you heard in that soundbite with him, he speaks English very well. He also speaks quite a bit of French. Used to play up in Montreal. Made an effort to learn that language. fastball off the outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pedro also is thrilled to be on the same ball club with his brother Ramon. He said Ramon was like a father to him when he was a kid growing up. There's Ramon, who reminded people of Pedro at times on Friday when he beat the Yankees here 4-1. Changeup blowing outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And both of them, although they certainly don't have the same style as another great pitcher from the Dominican, one of the greatest pitchers to ever pitch in the major leagues, Juan Marichal. And Pedro, when he won his first Cy Young Award, made sure to remember Marichal. Pop up over first base Stanley, and that is out number 2. We're talking about Pedro and his deep feelings about his brother Ramon, and he talked to us about that earlier this weekend.
Ramon, I think, has been my mentor, my father, my brother, my friend, everything to me. And just seeing him so proud of me and so proud of the things I achieved, I mean, made me realize that it was probably the reason why I did all those things.
A very poignant comment there about his brother Pedro.
And a lot of people...
About his brother Ramon from his brother Pedro.
And a lot of people may forget, but Ramon was one of the best pitchers in baseball until his shoulder. He had shoulder problems, and he's bouncing back now. But he had a great fastball and a great changeup, very similar to Pedro.
Knobloch takes a strike. Pedro saying his brother Ramon was his mentor, like a father, like a brother, and a friend. All of those things to him. And Ramon pitched awfully well here Friday. 7 2/3 innings, just 1 run, no walks. 5 strikeouts as the Red Sox took the first game of the series. Knobloch off the fist, foul off to the right. 0-2 the count. Big crowd here at Yankee Stadium. No score in the game. Knobloch fouled out to first his first time. Knobloch with 2 hits in 17 career at-bats against Pedro. Not too many have ever done much damage against Pedro Martinez. Back to the bag is Spencer. Now, he led off the inning with a walk, and there 2 outs later, he's still at first base. Leday called out on strikes. Brocious popped out, and it's quickly 0-2 to Knobloch. Knobloch fouls that one into the upper deck. 0-2.
That's a pitch that Pedro doesn't use a lot, but that's his strikeout pitch as well as his changeup. He'll get 2 strikes on the hitter, and he throws it up and out of the strike zone. And if you try to pull it, you'll swing and miss. Knobloch doing a good job there, just staying alive.
Well, batters have swung and missed on more than 1/3 of Pedro's pitches this year. That's why Knobloch's doing a pretty good job here, just fighting off some tough pitches. 37% of every pitch he's thrown this year that a batter has swung at, the batter has missed. Just as a comparison, Clemens has always been an excellent strikeout pitcher. He's seen the batters swing and miss at 19% of the pitches they've swung at. Half as often as Pedro. 0-2. Just a little bit low on the outside. 1-2. Pedro with 2 strikeouts so far tonight. Now, in his last start last Tuesday, he lost 3-2. And the 3 runs he allowed in that game were the most earned runs he had allowed in the ball game since last August. That's how great he has been. Hard breaking ball outside. 2-2 the count. Pedro had gone 15 consecutive starts without allowing as many as 3 earned runs. Last time a major league pitcher had a streak like that, his name was Greg Maddux 6 years ago. 2-2. Knobloch fouls another one away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Knobloch quickly fell in the hole at 0-2. But he has really made Pedro work as Joe Kerrigan, the Red Sox pitching coach, looks on. The two of them reunited here in Boston. They had been teacher and student together in Montreal. 2-2 to Knobloch. Jeter would be next. Another foul into the upper deck.
That's an interesting confrontation because Martinez sees that Knobloch is just up there kind of fighting the ball off, so he really doesn't want to throw him much off speed because then he would be right on it. And that's why I say he's such a smart pitcher. He knows exactly what he's doing out there. He knows what the hitter is thinking.
Spencer at first, 2 down, no score, 3rd inning. Carl Everett is there. That one slicing back into him. Quite an at-bat by Knobloch, but Pedro prevails, a 9-pitch at-bat. Top of the order for the Red Sox coming up.
You're on Love Matters. When love matters, I'm here to help. Dave?
Yeah, I'm having this problem with my girlfriend. It's kind of involved.
Diarrhea. Get it, and you want it gone.
You're a really good listener, you know.
He needs
I really
Imodium AD.
appreciate-
Imodium Advanced. It's even better.
Only Imodium Advanced relieves diarrhea plus cramps and bloating by combining 2 medicines, and it's even faster than Imodium AD.
So was I right to invite my mom along on my honeymoon?
Oh, Dave, absolutely. Imodium Advanced. Faster relief you can count on.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
On the next Chap One-on-One.
I guess I became an icon.
2 gold medals, a bronze, and the winning streak that wouldn't end. Edwin Moses.
I always kept myself ready to run a possible world record anytime I hit the track.
The drive that made him unbeatable.
I didn't like the people that I had to run against. They were the enemy.
And the day it all ended.
There were people crying in the stands because I lost the race.
Edwin Moses on the next Chap One-on-One.
Tomorrow at 6:30, only on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball from Yankee Stadium, New York. The Red Sox and Yankees tied for first atop the American League East. The rubber match of the 3-game weekend series. No score as we head into the 4th inning. And Jeff Fry will lead it off, followed by Trot Nixon and Brian Daubach against Roger Clemens.
And this is the second time through the order. Let's see if Roger stays with the same pitching pattern that he's used the first time through. No, he starts him off with a breaking ball, and that's what good pitchers will do. The second time through the order, they'll change their pattern, and if they go the 3rd time through the order, they will change their pattern again.
1 strike the count to Jeff Fry, playing in place of the injured Jose Offerman, who's on the disabled list. In that playoff game last October at Fenway Park, game 3 of that series, when it was Clemens and Pedro Martinez, Roger Clemens gave up a triple to Jose Offerman on the 2nd pitch he threw in that game. A strike on the inside, 1-2 to count. That wasn't where the pitch was supposed to go, but it was in the zone. After Offerman led off the game with a triple, then John Valentin hit a 2-run homer, and just like that, you see Offerman in uniform tonight in the dugout, but not available. And it only got worse for Clemens. He was knocked out in the 3rd inning. A little bit low on the inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And John, what you have to do as a hitter, you sit there and you watch, when you're watching great pitchers work, you sit there and you watch how he pitches the other hitters. If you're right-handed, you watch how he pitches the other right-handers. If you're left-handed, you watch how he pitches the left-handed hitters. So you will try to pick out a pattern or have an idea about how he's going to pitch to you when you get to the plate.
The strikeout, number 5 for Roger Clemens.
Well, Roger's just in complete control. Look, a little breaking ball. That's a hard breaking slider down and away. But the key is it wasn't in the strike zone. He started it in the strike zone and had it break out. And that's what he does so well. When Roger gets ahead of you, he gets you to chase pitches. When Pedro gets ahead of you, he just basically overpowers you.
Ball one to Trot Nixon. He struck out looking his first time. So that fan who was posting the strikeout totals for Clemens, and in the middle of the strikeouts, he had 1918. That, of course, was the last year that the Red Sox won a World Series. The Yankees have won 25 and all since then. It was just a couple of years later that Babe Ruth, the Red Sox star, was sent to New York, and the fortunes of these franchises, of course, have been forever changed. That's a called strike at the outside. 1-2. But that was the 20th century. Now it's Pedro as a Red Sox. It's a new century, and the Red Sox are hoping to get rid of all of that once and for all. 1-2. And the splitter for the strikeout. And he's on a roll now. He's struck out 3 in a row. And 6 of the 11 he's faced.
And you can see, as I said, he gets him to chase pitches. Once he gets ahead of you, he does not throw a strike. He gets you to chase the splitter. It starts in the strike zone and goes down and away. And again, that's why he has so much success against left-handed pitchers. That pitch also moves away from the left-hander, and you can see it tumbling, but it doesn't look like that coming to the plate. It looks like it's about 95 miles an hour, and all of a sudden the bottom drops out.
Brian Daubach. He popped a short his first time. 2 down, nobody on. 4th inning, no score. Roger Clemens, who got roughed up in his last start against the White Sox last Tuesday. But as you mentioned, Joe, the start before that, 10 days ago against the White Sox, here he pitched very well.
But he also had good stuff last time. He just made a couple of bad pitches in bad locations, left them out over the plate.
Check swing. That is a fair ball. Rapalano made the call. Daubach just got a couple of steps out of the batter's box, and a fine play turned in by Posada to get it before it went foul. Now the Yankees with Jeter, O'Neill, and Bernie Williams coming up against Pedro. No score.
You, the best minds on Wall Street. Nothing in between. Wall Street's best research analysts are much closer than you think. In fact, they're right at your fingertips. Go to access at solomonsmithbarney.com now and see how you can be a better investor. You'll get up-to-the-minute market commentaries, sophisticated portfolio tracking, including gain-loss reports, a personal watch list, and in-depth research. You get the convenience of trading stocks online, even after hours, and you can pay bills online too. Plus, you'll have the insight of your personal financial consultant. See how Access can make you a better investor. Go to solomonsmithbarney.com right now or call 1-800-EARNS-IT, extension 363 for this free CD-ROM virtual tour. See how we earn it. Solomon Smith Barney.
Here's a way to help your business with no risk at all. Just call for your free trial version of QuickBooks Pro, America's #1 best-selling small business accounting software. From the makers of Quicken, so you know it's easy to use. Want to write a check? You just start typing, and QuickBooks Pro fills in the rest. It shows you how much money you're owed and who owes it. It even prints invoices with your company logo. Call for your free QuickBooks Pro trial version now. There's no bill, no hassle, no risk. You can't do better than that.
If you want to see the greatest uncut fights of all time, you've got to watch ESPN Classic. Now experience boxing's most unique show, an exclusive look inside the ring with the champ, Sugar Ray Leonard. Sugar Ray's Hit Parade. He'll take you through historic battles and give you the inside story behind every hook, jab, and knockout from fights that are totally uncut. Sugar Ray's Hit Parade, tonight at 9, only on ESPN Classic.
So close to the action, you got to duck.
Are you old school?
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Red Sox nothing against Roger Clemens. The Yankees nothing against Pedro Martinez. And the big guys are coming up now against Pedro, starting with Derek Jeter. Jeter got an infield hit, the only hit for the Yankees so far. Fouls that one off the facing of the upper deck. A lot of half inning when he was on deck.
A lot of hitters get ready to hit a lot of different ways. This is Derek Jeter in the on-deck circle, just relaxing, talking to some fans in the first row. Kids get him relaxed.
Along the right field line, that one is fair. And it hops into the seats, 2 bases. A bloop along the right field line, and Jeter has not made hard contact yet, but he is 2 for 2 against Pedro.
Well, John, he's used the end of the bat the first time up to hit a tapper down the third base line. He used the handle of the bat this time to get a base hit down the right field line. Watch this. It jams him, and he just flares it down the right field line, in on his fist, right down the right field line for a double, and it bounces it to the stand for a ground rule double. First time up, right off the end of the bat, pop it down the third base line. They don't draw pitchers in the score box. Just put numbers, and he's 2 for 2. And all hitters will tell you, well, they catch line drives that I hit, so this just evens it out.
He's had 5 hits and 6 at-bats since coming back for the disabled list. Here's O'Neill. Yanks will have 3 shots to try and bring him home. Strike on the inside. Now, O'Neill didn't think so.
But what you'll see here from Pedro, he'll go at him hard, trying to keep him from pulling the ball. And if he thinks he can strike him out with a changeup, that's the only way he'll throw him a changeup. But he wants to try to get ahead with the hard stuff to keep him from pulling the ball. Because O'Neill's up there trying to pull the ball to the right side to advance Jeter over to third. There it is. Another good fastball. And this is again the advantage that Martinez has right here, because O'Neill knows that he doesn't want him to pull the ball, but he also knows that he has that great changeup, and he can't jump out there too quickly on the fastball.
O'Neill, now 37 years old, .312 batting average as a Yankee. Fastball too low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Last year was the first year since he became a Yankee back in 1993 that he did not hit 300.
And Paul O'Neill knows that he has the changeup. He knows he's going to throw it to him eventually, but he doesn't know when.
Foul tip, and he's still alive, just barely.
Most hitters can hit 92, 93 mile an hour fastball if they can sit on it and look for it. But Pedro keeps you from doing that because of his changeup. You have to recognize the pitch first, and in doing so, that makes the 92 mile an hour fastball about 96 miles an hour or 97.
All right, is he going to throw him a changeup here?
Well, me and Paul O'Neill do not know that, but he knows he has one. There it is. See, he knows he's going to get it. He just doesn't know when.
One away.
And here it is. He takes a little bit off, and looks like a little curveball, but it's an off-speed changeup, breaking bit. And here it is. But he gets O'Neill way out in front, but he's out front because he had thrown him so many fastballs, and he was trying to catch up with the fastball. That's what he does to you. I mean, that's perfect pitching right there.
O'Neill unable to move Jeter over. Now Bernie Williams. Ball 1. Bernie popped up to short his first time on the first pitch that he saw. The Yankees getting a leadoff loop double by Jeter here. Jeter is the only base runner in this game to have gotten past first base. And that snaps in there for a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And John, that was just a great job of pitching to Paul O'Neill, because Paul O'Neill went up there knowing what his job is. Paul O'Neill's a smart hitter. He knew he had to pull the ball, and he just couldn't do it.
In these spots, I mean, Pedro becomes even tougher to hit. Popped up. Bernie Williams, the Yankees' RBI leader, unable to move Jeter over. The catch made by Valentin, the third baseman. 2 down, and now Posada.
Well, Johnny went just the opposite with Bernie Williams. He threw him a curveball for a strike. Then he comes with the fastball up under the hands. And Bernie could not catch up with it. He went hard with O'Neill and then soft. He went soft, and then he comes with the fastball right in under the hands. Look at that. He just can't get to it. Just a great pitch.
Jorge Posada struck out his first time, hitting .347 for the year. Jeter led off with a double. He's still out there at second base. And that curve is low. I mean, the Yankees, for the second consecutive inning, have had somebody lead off by getting on base, and they've not been able to move either one of those runners even so much as one base. Jeter's still out there at short. Garcia Parra right behind him. Too far in with the fastball. 2-0. Another tough lefty, a veteran. Tino Martinez on deck. There's Bernie Williams. They had an excellent start to his season, but nothing for him tonight against Pedro. That is a strike.
That was interesting there. Posada took that pitch like he was expecting to be a changeup. He really pushed his front shoulder in to try to stay there so he wouldn't pull off. But it was a fastball.
2-1 now to Posada. Changeup too low. 3-1. Posada, the Yankees' everyday catcher, and he has really been catching almost every day. Turner caught yesterday, but Posada has not started, just less than a handful of games total. Curves it on 3-1, and it's 3-2.
Well, that's why he's such a great pitcher. You never know what you're going to get, even when you get him in a hitter situation like 3-1, 2-0. Posada was looking 2-0. He thought he was going to throw him a changeup. He threw him a fastball. He's looking fastball here, and he throws him a curveball. So he pitches just the opposite of what the hitter thinks. He seems to know what the hitters are looking for. So he's not just overpowering with his stuff. He's very smart out there. He gets into the hitters' heads.
Belichick runs out to chat with him for a moment. Now back behind the plate. 3-2 to Posada. Jeter at second, 2 down. No score. Struck him out, and the inning is over.
That's magnificent pitching there, John.
That's 4 strikeouts for Pedro. Garcia Parra coming up against the Rocket. No score.
The critics agree.
Excuse me.
The special effects in Battlefield Earth are out of this world.
If we don't take back our planet, the last of humanity becomes extinct. Stupid humans.
It's a huge visual feast. The summer movie season starts with a bang. John Travolta is the new face of evil. Battlefield Earth. Rated PG-13. Now playing everywhere.
Think these major leaguers have power? Forget this one. That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Greg. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com. As close to the game as you can get.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
Outtakes, the new book by Dan Patrick. Full, expanded interviews from Dan's Outtakes column in ESPN the magazine take you inside the minds of today's favorite athletes. Offbeat, revealing, and fuego. Outtakes in bookstores now or through ESPN.com.
I'm Gil Sayers, and you're watching ESPN Classic, and I love ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
We're at the Bronx in New York, Yankee Stadium, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. That's the look at Yankee Stadium from a high overhead from the gum out aerial camera. Beautiful pictures of this historic ballpark. Roger Clemens, an historic pitcher, throwing ball one high and tight to Nomar Garciaparra. Garciaparra struck out his first time. 0-0. The Yankees with 2 hits, the Red Sox with 1 hit against Clemens. On the right field line, foul on the slider. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Let's show you Garciaparra's first at bat. Really overmatched here with Roger Clemens. Roger made great pitches on him. Threw him a curveball for a strike, a slider over the outside corner for strike 1, fastball inside corner, strike 2, a splitter for strike 3. See you later.
1 ball, 1 strike this time to Garciaparra. Good low fastball at 94 miles an hour, 1-2.
And John, this is a tough thing. When you've been on the disabled list like Garciaparra and Derek Jeter, and then you come back and you face these 2 overpowering pitchers, it's very difficult for you to get any rhythm. Jeter's gotten a couple of hits, but they've been off the end of the bat and off the handle. And Garciaparra is just overmatched, so to speak. And that's tough because, I mean, he's one of the better hitters in the league. But when you get back off the disabled list and you haven't faced this type of pitching, I mean, it's just very difficult to stand out there and get base hits. I mean, Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens both seem to be on the top of their game tonight. And the last inning, Pedro just got mad because Jeter got that group double. I mean, he just got mad and overpowered the rest of the hitters.
The Yankees' biggest hitters did nothing with Jeter out there at second base. 1-2 to Garciaparra. Too low.
And John, good pitchers do that. They get mad if you get a cheap hit off them. I've seen Randy Johnson get a blue hit. He just blows away the next 3 guys. I mean, that's what they do. They get angry if you get a cheap hit.
Jeter with 2 cheap hits tonight, but it has not done the Yankees any good. The splitter, another strikeout. Number 7 for Roger Clemens in 4 1/3 innings.
And it's just tough, you know, a guy like Garcia coming back and not having a chance to face someone this tough. And you see Roger, the reason that he throws 2 different speeds on that splitter is he splits his fingers wider when he wants it to go softer. And the hard one you're talking about, he doesn't split his fingers as wide on the pitch, on the ball.
Carl Everett. Like a changeup.
That was, I think, that was the one. He splits him a little wider. He gets a little more movement and a little softer speed.
Carl Everett got a base hit his first time, the only Red Sox hit. Then he was picked off by Clemens shortly thereafter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And he have got the base hit on the fastball, so you see Roger, he's going to try to maneuver around the fastball this time, try to get him to hit something else, either the slider or the splitter.
1 ball, 1 strike to Everett. High and tight. There's another way of keeping track of the Rockets' strikeouts.
I guess they're launches, huh?
7 Rockets so far. There's another way. What happened to just K? 2-1 the count.
Great fastball right there.
Now see, now I can read that. Two balls, 2 strikes to Everett. Roger Clemens, who twice in his career pitched games where he had 20 strikeouts, the major league record. And he has been reminding us of those days so far tonight. Number 8. And he has struck out 5 of the last 6 hitters.
And John, when he struck out the 20, he was doing it with an overpowering fastball and a hard slider. Now he's doing it with an overpowered fastball and a splitter. He just throws this ball by. Look at the movement on the ball. That's what gets Everett, not the speed. It was the movement.
And when he was in his great days with the Red Sox, he used to say that his fastball had more movement on it when he threw it down around the knees.
Well, that's true. And most good pitchers, when they get the ball down, they get on top of it a little bit more. They get more action on the down below. Up top, it's the riding fastball because they release it high, and it's just the overpowering fastball. You get more speed up, and you get more movement down.
1 strike the count to Stanley. Stanley struck out his first time. It's a foul into the upper deck, and quickly the count goes to 0-2. Clemens in the 5th inning with 2 down and nobody out.
And John, you can just see him gaining more and more confidence with each pitch out there.
He has faced 14 hitters and struck out 8 of them. 5 of the last 6. The one that he didn't strike out in the last 6. Dahlback on a check swing hit a tapper in front of the plate. They're on their feet at Yankee Stadium. The 2-strike pitch. The splitter in the dirt.
Well, I think he was trying to really get a good sink on that splitter. He was going to strike him out with it. Just overthrew it, held on to it a little too long. But from 0-2, he had a foul to take. There it is again. See, he's overthrowing it now. He had perfect control. He was throwing it, starting it in the zone and moving out. But I think he's caught up in the moment a little bit here, too. Who isn't? We all are caught up. He's just blowing guys away.
Clemens has admitted that at times he has to battle getting caught up in the excitement. A little too much adrenaline.
Those 2 pitches just shows you that, because remember, he hadn't done that all night.
2-2. And that's foul, third base side. Stanley is an outstanding fastball hitter. Clemens has thrown him 3 straight split finger pitches since getting ahead of him at 0-2. O'Leary would be next. 8 strikeouts for the Rocket in 4 2/3 innings. Clemens is already within 1 strikeout of equaling his season's high for strikeouts. He's not had more than 9 strikeouts in a game this year. 2-2. Popped up. Shallow left center. Bernie Williams. The inning is over. That's 15. Clemens has faced the minimum number. Tino Martinez coming up against Pedro. No score.
I'm grateful that Michael Garcia is in our lives.
State Farm, Mike Garcia speaking.
We had a house fire, a house burned.
That was a tough day.
He didn't treat us as a policyholder, he treated us as a neighbor, as a friend.
I gave him a check right away. We went from there to putting the pieces back together.
He's not a hero in the sense of a sports hero or a movie star. He's a quiet hero.
He looks out for everyone in the neighborhood.
It's gone from being a slogan to really being my way of life.
One opposing team prepared to play against Joe Montana by studying all the film from his last 3 games. They were trying to predict his moves, but they found that a little difficult. Out of 100 plays on first down, Montana called 100 different plays.
Expect more from an original Coors, brewed in Golden, Colorado.
Try something different. Try an original.
Think these major leaguers have power?
Forget this one.
That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Craig. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com. As close to the game as you can get.
Attention, speed freaks. If you want to get the driver's seat for the best NASCAR races ever, then start your engines. Because every Sunday at 4, ESPN Classic is reinventing the wheel with 3 hours of smoking pedal-to-the-metal mayhem. See the greatest names in NASCAR history gun for victory lane. We're coming into your living room full throttle. So break out the Shasta. It's Classic NASCAR every Sunday at 4, only on ESPN Classic. Are you ready for life in the fast lane?
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. Last of the 5th inning, no score in the game. Tino Martinez, ball 1, facing Pedro Martinez in the Bronx. Tino flied out to center his first time. 0-0. In too tight. 2 balls and no strikes. Shane Spencer and Ricky Leday will follow. And that's a pitcher. Looks like a slider or a cut fastball.
Yeah, he doesn't really throw a slider as such. That's just the movement on his fastball. You know, you can grip it a little bit off to the side and you'll get that movement like a cut fastball. See, that one kind of moved back the other way. It's just all depends on where you hold it. If you hold a little bit off center to the right, it'll cut in. You hold a little bit off the center to the left, it'll move to the outside. You put the pressure on your index finger.
High in the air. Easy play for Everett. Center field. And there is one away.
Just thought about that. I don't know why I'm telling you all that, how you hold that. Are you planning on throwing some?
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to do that.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at Pedro, how he got out of that last inning pitching to Posada. 2-0. Look at, see how he keeps his front shoulder in. He was looking change up. Now he comes with a curveball, 3-1. Another curveball. I mean, it's just great pitching there by Pedro Martinez. And he was in Posada's head because Posada was looking for a changeup, 2-0, and he threw him a fastball. He's looking for a fastball, 3-1. He threw him a curveball.
Shane Spencer. That curveball in there for a called strike. And when Pedro beat Clemens and the Yankees in that playoff game last year, and in the game before that he had pitched against Cleveland. Deep into center. But Everett, plenty of room, has this one. That's the best hit ball of the game so far for the Yankees. Maybe for either team. 2 down, and here is Ricky Leday. But Pedro, who really was hurt and realized that he was risking his career, as we see the pitch totals. And they're throwing a lot of strikes here tonight, Clemens and Pedro. But Pedro was not right. He had the back problem, and he was throwing a lot of cut fastballs. And he was dropping down a little bit, more of a 3/4 delivery than over the top. And that one fouled off the plate umpire, Ed Rapuano, and that hurt. Gene Monahan, the Yankee trainer, quickly out.
Well, it's like you said, John, most of the time umpires do not get any sympathy. But the fastball in, and it gets him right on the inside of the right knee. And there is a shin guard there, but you can see it stops. Looks like it stops just below where he was hit. So it gets him right on the inside. He has a shin guard on, but underneath the pants, but that was just above where the shin guard stops.
Well, he's going to try and make a go of it here.
Well, the umpires are tough.
Ricky Leday, 2 down, nobody on. And the changeup is too low. Leday struck out looking his first time. By the way, Gene Monahan is the Yankees trainer, but Steve Donahue is his assistant, and that was Steve Donahue, not Gene Monahan, who was out there administering to the plate umpire, Ed Rapuano. If he was not able to continue, we would be in a delay here for a while, because one of the other umpires would have to go in and put all of the equipment on, all of the equipment that the umpires wear beneath their clothing, their shin guards, the chest protector, everything else, and that could take could take a good 10 minutes.
And I think the problem there would be what would happen to Pedro. He'd have to sit out there, or, you know, go sit down or whatever in the middle of an inning, and that's not what you like to see, especially in a ball game like this, where one pitch can make the big difference.
Today, base hit. Stanley and Fry had it surrounded, but somehow it made it through the both of them. And that's the first base hit by a left-handed batter tonight against Pedro Martinez.
And the interesting thing here, John, it's a fastball in, and it's a pretty good pitch, but Leday gets the barrel of the bat out there, and see, they don't expect him to pull the ball against Pedro, but you can see Fry trying to get there. He just can't get there. That's just a clean base hit.
Leday, who hit a home run here yesterday, and he has otherwise struggled most of the early part of the season, so much that there's been a lot of talk the Yankees might be in the market for a left fielder. Sort of first, Leday dives back in there. I mean, there have been all kinds of names mentioned. Henry Rodriguez with the Cubs, Jose Canseco, a DH, Matt Stairs with Oakland, and even very big names like Juan Gonzalez. And as long as rumors are going around, I guess some thought, well, let's go for it. And they even had Sammy Sosa on the list.
John, there were so many guys listed there that I was disappointed we weren't on the list. I mean, just I've seen so many. I've seen different names every day.
You think you and I may be going to
we should be. Hey, we should be on the list. I mean, so many names being thrown out there.
Well, this Brian Cashman, the GM, tell him. I mean, we were about the only ones not on the
list, right?
The list of rumors. Scott Brocious, he's been the Yankees' most successful against Pedro in the past. Not that he's been real successful, but he's been the most of any current Yankee hitter, with 5 hits in 17 career at-bats against Pedro.
And that's surprising a little bit to me, John, because Brocious is a very good fastball hitter, but Pedro's fastball moves in, and he also has a great curveball and a great changeup. So he has the pitches that would bother Brocious. So it's surprising to me that it's not a left-handed hitter that has the most success.
So I'm not surprised at all.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of people would be surprised. I realize. Leday is running, and he steals it easily. One and two, the count to Brocious, now with a chance to drive in a run.
Well, I think you have to try to make something happen against great pitchers. I've said this all along. I think you have to run on Maddox. You have to run on these great pitchers, because if you sit there and wait for things to happen, you know, you're just not going to get 3 or 4 base hits in a row. And Leday gets a good jump, and he steals second base.
Here's why I'm not surprised about Brocious and Pedro. Brocious rises to the occasion.
Great pitch right there, though, John. That was a changeup down and away.
Caught at second by Fry. End of threat for the Yankees. We're going to the 6th inning. O'Leary, Valentin, and Varitek against the Rocket. No score.
Bob Vila tells homeowners how to cut your monthly bills by 50% or more.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. This chair has layer after layer of paint on it. You might know the feeling if you don't pay your full credit card balances every month. Layers of expensive finance charges on top of principal until, well, it seems like you'll never get out from under. But you can. If you own a home or are about to, it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Home 1, 2, 3. Look.
The loan counselors at Home 123 can show you how to consolidate your monthly payments into one low monthly payment that could be as little as half of what you're paying now. In this example, that would be almost $500 extra in your pocket every month.
And unlike credit card interest, this interest may be tax deductible. Imagine, you may actually find yourself with hundreds of extra dollars each month and eliminate the stress of all those layers of debt.
If you own your home, call Home 123, even if you don't have equity. Call 1-800-HOME-123 or visit us on the web at home123.com. It's how to get the money you need.
A computer network, it can involve dozens of different parts. But a person with the appropriate knowledge and skills can be a part of a team that keeps it running smoothly. You could be that person with a degree in Computer Network Systems Technology from ITT Tech. You'll study operating systems, software applications, internet concepts, and even programming. And that's the kind of background that can help you begin to pursue a career involving computer network systems technology.
Take control. Call 1-800-942-0099 today.
Introducing ESPN Extra, the brand new cable channel for sports fans who can't get enough. On ESPN Extra, you get more of the sports you love, like international soccer from around the world, including the UEFA Champions League. You'll see international auto racing, fitness, and outdoor programming. Plus, there's EXPN, which offers exciting extreme sports programming. It's all on pay-per-view around the clock, all week long, and only on cable. Watch ESPN Now or your program guide to see what's on. Then order exactly like you would for a pay-per-view movie. ESPN Extra, you can't do better than that.
Are you crying? Are you crying? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball.
Baseball Tonight, every night at 10 and midnight on ESPN. This is ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
So Roger Clemens, 68 pitches thrown. He really got on a roll. He struck out Jason Varitek to end the third. Then he struck out Fry and Nixon to start the fourth. Daubach bounced out on a check swing dribbler in front of the plate, and then he struck out Garcia Parra and Everett to start the fifth inning. He had 5 strikeouts to 6 hitters, and the one hitter he did not strike out hit a 7-foot tapper on a check swing. Brian Runge, who had been the first base umpire, will now take up behind the plate. John Shulock will move over to first base, and Bill Miller is over there at third. Tommy Harper, the first base coach for the Red Sox, a great base stealer, quite a player in his day. You know, at one time held the Red Sox record for steals in a single season. He's wearing a microphone, and with all of the strikeouts and the dearth of runs tonight, he was talking to Paul O'Neill about that a little bit earlier.
But so much, when you see this kind of pitching, so much for the juiced-up ball. This pitching will stop all the talk about a juiced-up ball.
Where you guys going tomorrow?
We're off tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that people do converse while things are slowed down here, but Tommy Harper is right. There are great pitchers. It doesn't matter whether the ball is juiced or not. They're able to dominate the hitters, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. And John, Brian Runge behind the plate is the son of Paul Runge, who was the supervisor of the umpires when they had 2 leagues. He was a National League supervisor and a former teammate of mine in Durham.
Got a whole family line of umpires, right?
Yeah.
Ed Runge before that. Here is O'Leary as we begin play again after a 14-minute delay. And Clemens immediately gets strike one. O'Leary flied out to right on a 3-2 pitch his first time. Splitter too low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Valentin and Varitek will follow. No score, top of the 6th inning.
We'll have to wait and see if the change of umpires affects the pitchers, and that if there is a different strike zone, they're all supposed to be using the same strike zone now. So I would say that this shouldn't have a big effect on what happens here.
But suffice it to say, something that does not often come up.
Right.
2-2.
And especially with a guy like Roger, because Roger keeps a book telling you, where he knows what an umpire's strike zone looks like, which every umpire, he knows if they're high ball umpires, low ball umpires, they're wide umpires, or they have a small strike zone.
Well, the Rocket has the strikeout pitch working tonight. That's number 9, equaling his season's high. 9 strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings.
Well, I mean, he is just on top of his game, and as I said, it doesn't appear that the delay affected him at all. There's another splitter right on the outside part of the plate.
Now John Valentin. Foul ball. Valentin grounded to short his first time. Clemens has faced 16 hitters and has struck out 9 of them.
John, maybe while they had the delay, Roger ran up in his locker and looked to see what the strike zone of Brian Runge looks like.
checked his book, so he probably knows exactly what he's doing.
0-1 the count.
Base hit. Left center. Leday over to pick it up. So Valentin gets the Red Sox second hit. The only other hit for the Red Sox was Carl Everett's one-out single in the second inning. But before Clemens really had to get serious about working to the next hitter, he ended up picking off Everett at first base.
I tell you what, that's just good. This is good hitting. Watch where this pitch is. Slider down and away. Look at that, down and away, and only a guy that's leaning out there could hit that pitch. He leans out, gets it, and rips it up the middle for a base hit. That was a good pitch. That was not a bad pitch. It was just great hitting there by Valentin.
Jason Varitek struck out his first time. Switch hitting catcher for the Red Sox. 9 strikeouts, no walk. The runner goes.
And he is out by 10 feet. Valentin is really out as Varitek tried to protect him on the hit and run with a pitch was right in on his belt buckle.
Good idea by Jimmy Williams, the manager of the Boston Red Sox, to try something to try to change what's going on here with Roger. Not a big lead at first base by Valentin, not a good jump. And again, the ball was so far inside, it just tied Varitek up. He didn't really have a chance to protect him.
That splitter down the left field line. It is foul. Just foul. 0-2 the count to Varitek.
Well, Valentin takes off, and watch Varitek. He tries to protect him way inside. He just tries to get a piece of the ball. He really knew he couldn't put it in play. He just wanted to try to foul it off. He couldn't do so, and perfect throw by Posada, and Valentin is retired.
2 down, nobody on. 0-2 to Varitek. And they rise to their feet again here at Yankee Stadium. Fastball in the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So only 2 base runners have been on for the Red Sox, and both of them have been wiped out almost immediately after they arrived on base. See, Posada has been one of the best so far in the American League. I mean, he's Ivan Rodriguez-like. He's thrown out over half of those who attempted to steal while he's been catching. 1-2 the count.
Strike 3 call to the outside corner. For the first time this year, the Rocket has reached double figures. He's got a 2-hit shutout going, the top of the order coming up for the Yankees against Pedro.
A 260 horsepower CL Type S from Acura.
Good evening, sir. Your finest table? Reservation. Perhaps you'll find it under Washington. George Washington? Sir, that's only $1. Only $1. Don't you know that with 10, 10, 220, all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents, and just 7 cents a minute after that. Plus, there's no monthly fee.
Great rates and no monthly fee?
All day, every day. Oh. Walk this way.
Dial 10-10-220. If you're ready to lose weight, muscle up, and get back into shape, I've got a free video you're going to love.
Introducing a winning fitness strategy.
You got to eat healthy, drink plenty of water, and most importantly, strength train with Bowflex.
Strength training adds muscle. Not only does your shape look better, you actually increase your metabolism.
Hey, I'm 41, and I'm in the best shape of my life. And I can tell you, Bowflex really does work.
For a free video and brochure on the machine that can help you get into great shape at any age, call right now.
This is ESPN Classic.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Hey, Stu.
How you doing?
Is there a lot of security around here?
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean?
Well, you know, security guards.
You're watching ESPN Classics presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
No score. Red Sox nothing. Yankees nothing. As we go to the last of the sixth inning, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Gum Out. And the top of the order coming up now for the Yankees against Pedro Martinez.
And Pedro went out before it. He's stretching, after sitting for such a long period of time, waiting for the umpire to change and for Roger to retire the Red Sox in the sixth inning. And he goes out and you see trying to make sure he gets loose before he throws.
So a 14-minute delay after Pedro ended the fifth inning before Clemens went out to pitch the sixth inning. So it's been around 20 minutes since Pedro last threw a pitch. Chuck Knobloch, the leadoff man. Strike, and it's 0-1. Knobloch has fouled to first and lined to center.
Really affected him, John.
Yeah.
That first pitch fastball strike.
He just doesn't have it anymore. Marty Aronoff, who wants us to be always correct, says that it was actually 23 minutes since Pedro last threw a pitch.
Well,
until this one.
His fastball was 2 miles an hour. Well, he got it back up to 90.
One ball and 2 strikes to Knobloch. Jeter and then O'Neill to follow. 3 hits for the Yankees. Pedro with 4 strikeouts, rather 1 walk. Caught at first by Stanley. That was hit real hard.
Well, he's been feeding Knobloch a steady diet of fastballs in, out. He went in for strike 2, and he goes away trying to get strike 3, and he goes the other way right in the tip of the glove. Stanley holds on to it. Look at that. You can still see a little snow cone effect there. But he holds on to it, and that's the first out here in the 6th.
So tough luck there for Chuck Knobloch, one of the few to have even made hard contact tonight. But he gets nothing for it. Now Derek Jeter's had an infield dribbler for a hit, and then a pop fly along the right field line that fell for a double. He's 2 for 2. Strike on the outside. Ryan Runge taking over for Ed Rapuano. One strike the count. Low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. O'Neill on deck.
John, a lot of people are complaining because the Yankees are only playing .600 baseball and what's wrong with the Yankees, etc. I mean, I think it's very difficult to stay as hungry and keep your intensity after winning 2 world championships in a row.
That is foul.
I think they're pointing toward winning their 3rd championship in a row, but it's very hard just to keep that intensity day in and day out. I mean, I go back to the Chicago Bulls a couple of years ago. They looked like they weren't playing as good. And then as they got close to the end, everything seemed to pick up, and they won another championship. And I think you'll see the Yankees, the intensity and everything else start to develop, in July, August, and September down the stretch.
Off the outside. That looked like that cutter that Pedro will throw. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Joe Torre's club, I mean, despite everybody being a little nervous here in New York, what's wrong with the Yankees? I mean, at their current pace, they would win 98 games this year. And Derek Jeter blown away. The 5th strikeout for Pedro Martinez.
And again, I don't think he or Garcia Parra has seen stuff like they're seeing tonight, and he was just overmatched there. This fastball, it looked like it just took off. I mean, this one looks like it explodes right at home plate, and it does. I mean, it says 92 miles an hour, but it just exploded like there's no chance for you to hit that pitch.
Well, Derek Jeter, who has begun his career like he may be one of the greats, but he looked overmatched against the great Pedro Martinez there. Strike 1 to Paul O'Neill, who has grounded into a double play and has struck out. He's been on base twice he's been at bat twice with Jeter on base and was not able to move him up either time. Quickly, it is 0-2 to O'Neill. checks the bat to make sure it's still all in one piece, and apparently it is not. He cracked the bat.
And what you see from Pedro here, with especially Paul O'Neill, he's staying on top of him with the fastball and then trying to get him to chase the changeup. And there you see what the Yankees have done so far this year.
And their runs per game, 12th in the American League.
Well, I think the key figure, John, is this one, the on-base percentage. Last year, both Jeter and Knobloch were just constantly on base. And so far this year, they haven't done that. There's a long way to go. That once they get hot, I think the team will get hot.
0-2 to O'Neill with a new piece of wood. And that's into the upper deck, foul. Real protective swing there by O'Neill. Well, that's true. I mean, the other thing with the Yankees is Knobloch, Jeter, and the whole lineup was filled with guys who worked the count. They drew a lot of walks, and they always had a real high on base average, but only 11th in the American League of that category so far this year. Sometimes that patience has not been there for this edition of the Yankees. 2 down, nobody out. Change up in the dirt. Bernie Williams would be next.
And what you have to do now, if you're Martinez and you're Clemens, you're starting to get late in the ball game, and your fastball may lose a little bit of the zip. What you do not want to do is leave a ball inside to one of these left-handed hitters that they can pull. So you saw him go inside with 2 good fastballs, and then he started to go away on every pitch since then. See, now he's away again.
Strike 3 call. And O'Neill, very unhappy, fires the helmet away. 6 strikeouts for Martinez. We go to the 7th. The top of the Red Sox order up against the Rocket.
As soon as he hit 30, Dad started losing his hair.
I had it when I needed it.
So I knew it could be in the cards for me. And at the first sign of fallout, I checked it out with a dermatologist. And he said Rogaine every day, right at the source of the problem. I've used Rogaine for 2 years now, and I don't see any difference. And that's the idea. You keep the hair you have.
Rogaine, recommended more by dermatologists than any other treatment.
It's stronger than heredity.
You better believe a pain like this, from a soul like this, will go on like this, live on like this, and look like this, give you pride like this, 'cause it's true.
It's True Value paint, and you can't do better. It really is this good.
Goes on like this, feels on like this, looks like this, pride like this.
True Value paint. Great paint, great store.
Excuse me.
Pardon me.
I've got to have a Whopper.
And I must have a Whopper Junior.
Well, I need a double Whopper.
We have to save the chickens.
Chickens? What chickens?
Look, here comes another one.
Now that you can get 2 tasty Whoppers for just $2, you can save the chickens from the new movie Chicken Run and eat more beef. Hey, with 2 Whoppers for just $2, you can save a lot of chickens.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
Think these major leaguers have power?
Get this one.
That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Craig. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com, as close to the game as you can get.
You're watching ESPN Classics presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
The GM Goodwrench Service game summary, and there you see the totals. No runs, 2 hits for Boston. No runs, 3 hits for the Yankees. Pedro Martinez, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. And Roger Clemens, 10 strikeouts, no walks, including 7 strikeouts of the last 10 hitters. Derek Jeter has a 2-hit game going against Pedro. And there's a called strike to lead off man Jeff Fry. Here we go to the 7th inning. The late innings now begin. 37-year-old Roger Clemens who came up big in the postseason, except for that one game. Although that one game against the Red Sox and against Pedro, the one that everybody seems to remember. Runs inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. But you may recall in division series with 7 shutout innings, the Yanks won that game 3-0 to advance to the league championship series against Boston. Back to Clemens. Fry is 0 for 3 with 2 comebackers. The GM Goodwrench Service game summary, and there you see the totals. No runs, 2 hits for Boston. No runs, 3 hits for the Yankees. Pedro Martinez, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. And Roger Clemens, 10 strikeouts, no walks, including 7 strikeouts of the last 10 hitters. Derek Jeter has a 2-hit game going against Pedro. And there's a called strike to leadoff man Jeff Fry. Here we go to the 7th inning. The late innings now begin. 37-year-old Roger Clemens, who came up big in the postseason, except for that one game. Although that one game against the Red Sox and against Pedro, the one that everybody seems to remember. Runs inside for a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. But you may recall at Texas, he won the clinching game of the division series with 7 shutout innings. The Yanks won that game 3-0 to advance to the league championship series against Boston. Back to Clemens. Fry is 0 for 3 with 2 comebackers and a strikeout. We're watching 2 greats at the top of their game here tonight, and out in left field, many all-time Yankee greats are commemorated. Reggie Jackson, Billy Martin, Phil Rizzuto, number 10, Roger Maris, Elston Howard, Thurman Munson, and there's Whitey Ford. We talked about him earlier, the great Yankee left-hander, Yogi Berra. It's 0-1.
John, that reminds me that there you see the other great Yankees, Casey Stengel and the Mick, Joe D.
Joe DiMaggio. And, of course, the Babe. And Lou Gehrig, number 4 over there. A slider just off the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Trot Nixon, who has struck out looking and swinging. Clemens, 10 strikeouts. 8 have been on swinging third strikes, only 2 looking. Dahlback on deck. No score, 7th inning. Left center into Death Valley. Leday. Not quite. Nixon to second. He's going for 3. The throw. He slides. He's safe. It looked to me like he started to call him out. John Shulak, who was on the move, he started at first base, remember. We've only got 3 umpires working. He had to come completely across the infield and make that call, and he started to call him out and then changed it to save.
Well, yesterday, Ricky Leday made a great catch on a play just like that to save some runs. Right here, he leaped out and made the catch yesterday, just over his head. And I thought it was worth the gamble for Nixon to try to get to third base with 1 out, even though it was a very close play. And here's the play at third base. Very close play at third base. Let's see if his left hand gets in there. Well, very close, and you see John Shulak right there on top of the play. So it had nothing to do with the fact that there were only 3 umpires. Shulak did a great job of hustling over there and getting into position. He was there.
Now the Yankees bring the infield in. Here is Dahlback, the 3rd place hitter for Boston, with Garcia Parra on deck.
And the infield's going to play all the way in and try to cut this run off at the plate.
Dahlback is the 2nd leading RBI man for the Red Sox so far this year, behind Carl Everett. He's got 33 batted in. So they got a chance here to get a run home without getting a base hit. The Red Sox get a runner to third base for the first time. In fact, they'd never had a runner anywhere but first base until here.
Well, we get another look at the play. You see, this is what John Shulak sees. And again, very, very close play. You just can't tell when the glove actually tags him. And Roger Clemens thought he was out. He's going to give it the right hand, but John Shulak says no, Shulak was there.
Ball 1 to Dahlback.
And what you see from Roger Clemens here, he's going to try, if he's going to try to get ahead in the count. He'll try to stay down, and that was the splitter. He wants the ground ball. And if he happens to get 2 strikes, he may go for the high fastball to try to strike him out. But his main concern now is to keep the ball on the ground and keep it on the infield. Unless he gets ahead, and then he will go for the strikeout.
Trot Nixon has 3 triples this year now. Fastball, a strike at the knees. That one caught more of the plate than Posada had planned. He was well to the outside, and that one came back a little bit.
Well,
One ball, 1 strike.
His concentration, again, is to keep the ball down. And I'm not sure he's not so concerned with Dahlbach because he knows that Garcia Parra is not swinging the bat as well as he normally does. So if he does walk him, he doesn't really care. I shouldn't say he doesn't care, but it wouldn't be the worst thing to happen.
Dahlbach has popped to short and been out on a check swing roller out in front of the plate. There's Garcia Parra on deck.
And normally you would never think of that, pitching around someone to get to Garcia Parra, but he just came off the disabled list yesterday, and he's just not used to seeing the speed of a guy like Roger Clemens right now.
The splitter in the dirt, 2-2.
Good smart pitching there and great confidence in Posada to be able to block that ball. You have to have confidence in your catcher that he can block the ball if you do keep it down there.
The first scoring throw of the night for the Red Sox. Now Yankee Stadium tries to come to the aid of Roger Clemens with the huge roar with 2 strikes and 2 balls. Strike 3 on the outside.
I tell you what, John, it doesn't get any better than this. Roger Clemens pitching with a runner at third, and we saw Pedro pitching in the same type of situation. They make great pitches here. Now, remember I said he wants to keep everything down. Look at this. Right down, down, everything down. Strike 1 down. Now he gets him to chase the splitter here down. Now he comes up with a good splitter right on the outside corner down. Just great pitching there from Roger Clemens. If he would have swung at any of those pitches, put him in play, more than likely he was going to hit it on the ground, and that's what he wanted.
Well, now here's the American League batting champion from last year, Nomar Garcia Parra. Splitter in the dirt, and this is where Posada comes into play. Now he's got to be like one of those Stanley Cup Finals goaltenders. He's got to be able to block anything that Clemens throws up there to keep Nixon over at third. I mean, with Pedro on the mound, even though it's just the 7th inning, we could be talking game if a run scores here.
Well, I think every situation here has to be considered. This could be the ball game. Every pitch that Clemens makes and every pitch that Pedro makes from here on in, they have to think that way.
Garcia Parra has struck out twice in this game. Just back from the disabled list yesterday. The splitter in the dirt again, 2-0.
I tell you what, that was awfully close to being a wild pitch there. Posada tried to get down, but that one just he caught it right in the webbing of his glove. Watch this splitter. Now watch, he just barely gets this. See, there is an opening there. See that? But he catches it in his glove. Great job. It looks like Martin Brodeur from the New Jersey Devils hockey goalie there.
You name dropper.
Yeah.
Big pitch now, 2-0 to Garcia Parra. Runner at third, 2 down. They're going in. Down and in. 2-1. Now Garcia Parra, you mentioned he just back, so he's not quite himself after being on the disabled list. On the other hand, he has never hit Clemens, even when he's had everything going. He has 3 hits in 24 career at-bats against Roger. And that splitter bounced foul. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And again, the huge crowd in the big ballpark rises.
And let's not overlook the fact that Rogers made great pitches to Garcia Parra tonight as well.
Nixon down the line from third with 2 down in the 7th. From the windup, 3-2.
Now this is a tough pitch for Roger to make because Carl Everett is on deck, and Everett does hit him pretty well. Everett's left-handed, of course, and he does have a base hit tonight. So you have to decide, am I going to go after Garciaparra here, or am I going to try to make another perfect pitch?
Struck it out. The splitter in the dirt. Nixon is stranded at third, and that's 12 for the Rockets. Now Pedro heads back to the mound. Bernie Williams coming up. We're still scoreless in New York.
Arm strength, quickness, agility, and body. Friday.
You're watching ESPN Classics presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Gum Out. Drive your fuel system clean with a complete line of Gum Out Performance Fuel Additives. And in part by Mailboxes Etc. At Mailboxes Etc., we get it done, and we get it done right. And by Minwax Wood Finishes. With Minwax, it's easy to make wood beautiful.
Bernie Williams, first ball swinging against Pedro with a fly ball to center. Waiting for it is Everett. And Bernie is retired for the third consecutive time. Two pop-ups, one to short, one to third, and now a routine fly ball to center. So Pedro continuing to take care of business on the other side of things. Less spectacularly than the Clemens, with 6 strikeouts for Pedro versus 12 for Roger. Pedro's real crisis came in the 4th inning when Jeter led off with a bloop double. But he struck out O'Neill, he popped up Williams, and he struck out Posada. Clemens' first major crisis here in the 7th inning, a 1-out triple by Nixon, but Dahlbeck struck out, and so did Garciaparra. That's a foul ball pulled up the first base side by Posada, who has struck out twice.
We're at the situation now where, John, I think if you're Pedro and you have all these left-handed hitters, Posada, Tino Martinez, and you just retired Bernie Williams and Paul O'Neill, you have to make sure you keep these guys from pulling the ball. And you saw right there, Posada pulled the ball because a short porch in right field would come into play very easily on a fly ball, just a routine fly ball to right field.
Too far in with the fastball. And the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place hitters, those 4 lefties you're talking about, Joe, O'Neill, Williams, Posada, Martinez, are 0 for 10 tonight and have not reached base in any way. Hit sharply, but right to Brown. Posada is gone. 2 down.
Let's take a look at Roger Clemens with a runner at 3rd and 1 out in the 7th inning and how he got out of this. Here's Dahlbeck's pitch. Look at that. Just a beautiful pitch right on the outside corner and down. And Garciaparra. But I have to give Posada all the credit in the world. He blocked 2 or 3 balls, and you have to have confidence in your catcher to be able to throw that pitch that he threw to Garciaparra. So they worked well together there, Posada and, of course, Roger Clemens.
Tino Martinez, change up too low. Tino, another one of those guys with great power. He says it's kind of got him down a little bit, Joe. He's only got 4 homers. He says he sees guys all around the league with 8, 9 homers. He says it wears on him a little bit. Deep right field. Nixon on the warning track waiting for it. 7 scoreless innings, a 6-pitch inning for Pedro. 8th inning coming up. Carl Everett coming to bat against Clemens. No score.
There's a new way to quit smoking. Take a good look. You may never see it again. Introducing Clear Nicoderm CQ. For relieving tough nicotine cravings 24 hours a day, Clear's every bit as effective as the original CQ. But it's a more private way to quit.
There's something different about you.
Yes, there is. Clear Nicoderm CQ. Want a clear shot at quitting? Well, here's your window of opportunity.
Still trying to make the major leagues? Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com to reach the major leagues every day. Video highlights on demand, live game audio. Make the moves in MLB's official online fantasy game. Grab the latest gear at the official store. MajorLeagueBaseball.com lets you be a part of the major leagues, and it may even help your game.
Think these major leaguers have power?
Forget this one.
That's nothing compared to the power you have when you click on MajorLeagueBaseball.com. On Monday, balloting at the ballparks is over, but you can still decide who starts this year's All-Star game. Just go to MajorLeagueBaseball.com for the official link to this year's online All-Star ballot. Click through, pick your favorite players, and vote up to 25 times. And don't vote for yourself, Craig. Vote for this year's All-Stars at MajorLeagueBaseball.com. As close to the game as you can get.
Babe Ruth.
He did think that he was bigger than baseball.
Bobby Orr.
Changed the game of hockey more than any player ever did.
Ted Williams is the John Wayne of sports.
Lawrence Taylor.
I was set up like a mother Mickey Mantle.
Women threw themselves off of 9-story buildings.
Joe DiMaggio.
He thought his wife should be publicly exposing herself.
Sports Century. All new original episodes premiere Monday, July 10th at 8, only on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
Yankee Stadium in New York. 55,000 plus here at Yankee Stadium. And we have a 0-0 game. Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez. Unlike that playoff game last October, which many billed as the matchup of the century, this one has been delivering the goods.
And let's take a look here at this last swing by Tino Martinez. Look at that. I mean, right there, he's on the sweet part of the bat, just underneath it, just a little bit. I mean, it's only a 16th of an inch difference between a home run and a long fly ball like that.
Carl Everett, he is the Red Sox home run and RBI leader. The former Yankee who felt he never got a shot, a real shot, in the Yankee system. Back to the screen, and quickly is behind Clemens 0-2. Roger Clemens tonight with 12 strikeouts in 7 innings. That's the most he's ever had since coming to the Yankees. The 95th time in his career that he's had 10 or more in a game. He's 2 behind Sandy Koufax in that category. And no walks. Off the outside. 55,339 is the paid crowd. High and tight, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now, this is the first time that Roger Clemens and Pedro Martinez, these 2 great pitchers, have ever been matched up against one another in regular season play. It's been worth the wait. No score, 8th inning. The splitter too low. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
John, I know a lot of people like to see the 10-9 games, like to see the home runs. They like to see all those long balls. But I tell you what, this is a baseball game. You're seeing 2 pitchers at the top of their craft, and you're seeing the hitters trying to deal with them.
The dangerous Everett, 3-2 the count. Struck him out. He came after him with the rocket fastball, number 13 for Roger Clemens.
And John, that's 3 in a row again. I mean, he just throws this ball right by him, and I think again the fear of the splitter that he's had all night keeps Everett from jumping out here on the fastball, and you see just a little late on it. He's behind this fastball. This one's by him. Watch, you'll see. See, he's a little late on it. But the fear of the splitter and the fear of Pedro's changeup is making their fastballs more effective. Because you have to wait just a split second longer.
There's that splitter. Stanley, it's 0-1. Well, it was 3-2 to Garcia-Parra in the 7th inning, and he threw him the splitter with a runner at 3rd.
Well, you have to know that he has that, and a hitter in the back of his mind is there. So you say, I got to see the ball. I can't go out there too quickly on the fastball, and he throws the fastballs right by you.
1 strike to Stanley. 0-2 in the game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stanley struck out to end the 2nd inning. He flied out to shallow left center in the 5th inning. 13 strikeouts for Roger Clemens in 7 1/3 innings. Stanley with power. Just missing inside. Maybe a little high. 2-1. Uh-oh, Joe. They did not bring enough Ks. His Yankee career strikeout high was 11. They brought 11 Ks tonight.
Well, at least they're hanging some Red Sox out to dry. That works.
2-1 the count to the dangerous Stanley. Slider. 3-1.
Well, I think you see the respect that Clemens has there for Stanley, who is a good fastball hitter, as you noted earlier. He doesn't want to give him a 3-1 fastball that he could jerk, so he comes with a slider and he misses. I think he just about has to give him a fastball now, although you've got Troy O'Leary on deck. Stanley doesn't run that well, so having him at first base is not all that bad.
3-1. Broken back. Derek Jeter. 2 down. The gum out in-game box score for the Red Sox. Trot Nixon with that triple in the 7th inning. Carl Everett with a 2nd inning single. He got picked off. Valentin a 6th inning single. He was thrown out on a busted hit and run play. And that's it. No other hits, no other base runners for the Red Sox. Clemens has faced only one hitter over the minimum. Here is Troy O'Leary. O'Leary is the 25th Boston hitter of the game. Clemens has struck out 13 of the first 24 that he's faced tonight. O'Leary has flied to right and struck out. Another dangerous hitter. 2-0.
And I think this is the time of the ball game when both guys are looking at the batting orders and saying, which guys do I fear the most in this order? Which of these guys can drive the ball out of the ballpark and hurt me? And I think that Clemens realizes that O'Leary can do that.
3-0.
And I think you're right here. It's 3-0. I think if you're Jimmy Williams, you have to let O'Leary take a swing at this. And I think Roger's aware of it, that John Valentin's on deck. Not that he's a weak hitter, but he's right-handed, and that gives you a better chance of keeping the ball in the ballpark.
3-0 the count. And that's exactly what happened. And Clemens did not groove one in there. It's just a pop foul into the seats on the first base side. 3-1.
Well, to be honest with you, John, I think Roger got a little lucky there because that ball was out of the strike zone. He came after him with a fastball, but he got it up just enough that O'Leary couldn't get to it. But you see he was trying to pull it, and he was trying to dial long distance there.
Pedro Martinez just matching zeros so far with Clemens. Hoping for a run. 2 down, nobody on.
Splitter. You see, this is just great pitching. Roger says, I gave you the fastball up and out of the zone. You went after it. Now I'm going to take a chance to make a good pitch. And there it is, the splitter. And O'Leary way out in front, which he should have been. He should have been looking for a fastball.
13 strikeouts for Clemens. Popped up. Jeter. The inning is over. Roger Clemens, as good as he's ever been at age 37. Matching zeros with Pedro. Last of the 8th coming up.
Let's see. You're watching ESPN Classics presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28th, 2000.
Pedro Martinez locked in a classic here with Roger Clemens. Last of the 8th inning. Pedro, who was 23-4 last year. Cy Young winner in the American League, facing Shane Spencer. Strike on the outside. It's 0-1. Spencer is the only hitter on either team who's drawn a walk tonight. He walked leading off to third, but he never got any further than first base. He's also flied out to center. He's 0 for 1. And the curve low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now, there have been some great classic matchups over the years. One of the greatest involved the Red Sox all the way back in 1912, the year that Fenway Park opened. 2 greats went one day in Boston. Walter Johnson in the Hall of Fame and Smokey Joe Wood. That's a foul back out of play. Both of them won 30 games that year. And they set up a matchup. They moved Smokey Joe Wood ahead a day so that he could face Walter Johnson. And they sold out Fenway. They had standing room. They had people on the field with ropes up in front of the outfield walls. So many people wanted to see that game. Struck him out. Number 7 for Pedro Martinez.
And he set him up. He threw him a couple of fastballs. Now here's a breaking ball. This is just a beautiful curveball. He drops down a little bit, and it just breaks way off the plate. Watch, he drops down a little bit more than normal, and he gets a good break on the ball. And as you said, that's his 5th strikeout. 7th strikeout, I'm sorry.
As I said, 7.
Yeah. Hey, John, I went 1, 2, 3, 4.
I know that.
And I went backwards again.
There've been a lot of strikeouts today.
This is exciting. Let me put a 7 over here, John.
Yeah. Catch up.
All right, I'm up now. I'm up to date.
20 strikeouts in the game.
Who won that game? Walter Johnson and Smokey.
The final score, that great epic pitching matchup in 1912, 1-0. The Red Sox won it. And it was the 14th win in a row for Smokey Joe Wood. That was the two meeting before that game. Smokey Joe Wood of the Red Sox on the left. The duel of the year, and the Red Sox won it 1-0. And Smokey Joe Wood went on to win 16 in a row, which is still an American League record for a single season. Earlier that same year, Walter Johnson had won 16 in a row. So they gave the big train, Walter Johnson, a chance to keep Smokey Joe Wood from getting that record that day. But Smokey Joe beat him 1-0. It was one of 26 losses in Walter Johnson's career when he lost 1-0. I mean, 26 times he lost 1-0. He also won 38 times 1-0. Walter Johnson. Well, we've got one of those epics going on here tonight. The first regular season matchup between Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens. Leday, a pop fly along the left field line. That is going to drop back in amongst the spectators as O'Leary gave chase from left field. 3-2 the count to Leday.
And John, I tell you something. I'm seeing the difference in the maturity in a guy like Pedro Martinez, who is just a great pitcher. As I said, a very smart pitcher. What he's done here in this inning, he's gone to the breaking ball. He's been using the changeup and the fastball. This inning, he's gone to more curveballs. He struck Spencer out with a curveball. He's thrown a couple of curveballs to Leday, but he's using his whole repertoire, and he's a guy that every pitch is a quality pitch.
Left field. Going back is O'Leary. But that's Death Valley at Yankee Stadium. That's the place to make it hit it. O'Leary catches up to it. It is 399 feet to left center. And not quite as deep to straightaway left where he hit that one, but plenty deep enough. Here's the gum out in-game box score for the Yankees. Jeter with 2 hits, a single and a double. An infield single and a bloop double. Ricky Leday with a base hit to right. Those are the only hits for the Yankees. The only other base runner, Spencer, with a 3rd inning walk. The Yankees have only been able to move up 1 of their 4 base runners, even 1 base. That was Leday, who stole 2nd in the 5th inning. Since he stole 2nd, Pedro Martinez has retired every other Yankee hitter. 9 in a row now since that base hit in the 5th. Here's Brocious. He's popped the 1st and popped the 2nd.
And you see him using the breaking ball here. Again, I think he's just so smart because every time he's changed, he's used changeups, he's used fastball. Now he goes to the breaking ball with certain hitters here late in the ball game.
By the way, the Yankee bullpen is busy. They're in the 8th, scoreless. That curve hangs high on the inside. 2 balls and a strike. In the Yankee bullpen, the Yankees' great closer, Mariano Rivera, talking there with Tony Clemenger, the bullpen coach. Now, Clemens is up over 100 pitches in this game, but usually Rivera gets up just in case the Yankees get a run to go ahead. Clemens is at 112 pitches. Oh, man. Fastball right on the outside, right at the knees. 2-2 to Brocious.
It's not just that they both have good stuff. They're just making quality pitches. Brocious had to count 2-1 in his favor. He's looking fastball. What does Pedro do? He paints the outside edge with a fastball.
2-2, 2 down. Brocious fights it off back into the upper deck.
And John, the fact that Mariano Rivera is up, what that really does is tells Pedro, you better not make a mistake now. You make any mistake and the ball game could be over because Rivera usually comes in and just shuts the door.
He's been the best in the business. Struck him out. Number 8 for Pedro Martinez. And he's been getting better as the game has gotten longer. He's retired 10 in a row. 9th inning coming up. No score.
I love working here. It's exciting. Feeling like we're changing things for the better. At Zurich Direct, there are no surprises. You call us and we give you a free quote
on ESPN Classic.
You're watching ESPN Classic's presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
No score. Top of the 9th inning, Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens. And this has been one to remember. Coming up next, Sports Center. Stay tuned after the ball game. The Indy 500. The Lakers-Blazers, a Game 4 breakdown, and the Sunday conversation with Pedro Martinez. Charlie Steiner chatting with Pedro. Dan Patrick and Stuart Scott have it all for you. Sports Center right after the game. Here's John Valentin now. 9th inning. Valentin, who's been hurt most of this year, has played very little, but he is a very big threat.
Definitely a big threat because Valentin is a smart hitter. He gets you in a position where he gets a hitter's pitch, and he can drive the ball out of the ballpark.
Clemens' former teammate, John Valentin.
Like
He's going for it right there.
And John, I tell you that Roger has not pitched a complete ball game this year, so here he is in the 9th inning. Pedro has pitched 2 complete games. And this is what, he's not trying to hit a single here, but that ball's up just enough that he can't get to it.
Clemens is at 114 pitches thrown in this game. The most he's thrown in a game for the Yankees this year is 125. 1-1 to Valentin. The splitter too low. Valentin played only about 2/3 of the season last year because of various injuries, but he saved his best home run hitting for the league championship or the division series against Cleveland. He had 3 homers and 12 RBIs in that best-of-5 series with Cleveland. He also had a home run against the Yankees in the league championship series. Right to second. 1 hop for Knobloch. 1 away. Now Varitek.
Valentin got another fastball, but I don't think he was sure it was going to be a fastball. He was a little late on it, but he hit it hard.
Varitek hit 20 home runs last year. I mean, the 9th place hitter is a home run threat. He has struck out twice in this game. 13 strikeouts, no walks for Clemens. He's gone to a 3-ball count 8 times, but no walks. Varitek with a bunt. Clemens with the bare head pickup. 2 away. Thank you very much.
Exactly. I would say Rogers appreciative of that.
The pitch count is growing. You got that home run porch in right field beckoning, a left-handed hitter, and he bunts.
And you got a right-handed hitting Jeff Fry up, so this helps Roger. Roger's quickly over. He has plenty of time, as you can see. And Varitek is out.
I mean, and Jeff Fry is not a real big threat to have gotten Varitek home from first base. Fry, who has 13 home runs in his entire major league career. That one hit Fry. Or did it hit Fry, or it hit the bat? The plate umpire, Brian Runge, said it hit the bat. Here comes Jimmy Williams.
Well, the ball certainly appeared to hit Fry, but, you know, the home plate umpire Runge is closer to it than we are.
Checked out by the trainer.
Well, it had to hit him because the ball ricocheted away from Posada. Posada would have caught that ball otherwise. It hit something, let's put it that way.
Right
It may have hit the bat, but it definitely hit something. It may have hit the knob or hit the handle. Let's take another look. But it definitely hit something because it ricochets away from Posada. Hit the knob.
Hit the knob.
Well, it either hit the knob, I can't really tell. It may have hit him on the side of his finger. You can't tell from there, but it probably hit the knob.
Off of Clemens. Brocious, no play.
Well, I think he'd rather have a base hit anyway.
The fourth hit for the Red Sox. Pedro Martinez, who will have to face the top of the Yankees batting order in the last of the inning, looking on.
This ball is hit right back through the middle. Roger gets a glove on it, but it bounces away from him. He's looking for it. Roger doesn't know where it is. He thought he still had it.
So Fry is at first. Remember, the Red Sox playing without Jose Offerman, who's on the disabled list. Fry has not so much as even attempted a steal this year. Here's Nixon, who hit a triple in the 7th inning. The Yankee Stadium crowd with the "Let's Go Yankees" cheer echoing through the historic old ballpark. 1 ball and no strikes to Trot Nixon. He is 1 for 3 in this game and 3 for 8 lifetime against Clemens. And amongst those 3 hits, tonight's triple and also a home run against him last year. Posada out to talk to Clemens.
And I think he went out, John, because that last pitch bothered him. That's probably one of the worst pitches that Roger's thrown tonight. The ball got up and away from him, which tells you that maybe he's tiring a little bit and he didn't bend enough. And Posada wants to make sure, because at this point of the ball game, you do not want to make a mistake.
That was the 120th pitch thrown by Clemens. You see it there. 2 down, 9th inning. No score. Both bullpens are quiet. The splitter. Strike call to the outside. Third baseman Scott Brocious is over protecting the foul line behind third. There you see him on the left-hand side of the screen. Dug out of the dirt by Posada. 2 balls and a strike.
And you see what Posada did there. He went out there and talked to Roger about that high fastball. So he wanted him to throw a couple of splitters to make sure he, got his body through and finished the pitch off. And he did so.
And when you talk about that body, Joe, you talk about a 37-year-old body
that he keeps in great shape.
2-1. Deep and on its way. It is no longer a scoreless game. A 2-run homer for Trot Nixon. And the Red Sox fans at Yankee Stadium suddenly make the big noise. Trot Nixon follows up his 7th inning triple with a 9th inning 2-out homer. His 6th home run of the year. And his 2nd against Clemens in 9 career at-bats against him.
Well, he missed with it. He got the count to 2-1, and Nixon was sitting on the fastball. Now watch, he gets the fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate. It's pretty much middle of the belt, high, in the middle of the plate. I mean, he gets all of it. I mean, there's no doubt. Look at that. Nice rock back. Great extension. That one's gone.
Now Dahlback. Strike called. Dahlback is 0 for 3. So the 2-out infield single by Fry after the argument about whether he was hit or not is what gets it started in the 9th inning. And now it is the Boston bullpen that gets up.
And John, what happens is you lose just a little bit off your fastball. I know the gun is saying 93 miles an hour, 94. But that means that you've lost a little of the hop off your fastball. But, I mean, that happens anyway. You can't throw 125 pitches without losing a little something.
Knobloch. Knobloch will be leading it off in the last of the ninth. Pedro Martinez with a 2-0 lead now. And Derek Lowe, the closer, up in the bullpen. Knobloch, Jeter, and O'Neill. Last chance for the Yankees.
Once again, a Subaru has received the highest possible rating in recent crash tests. The Legacy has beaten every car tested in its class. But the real story is that with our full-time all-wheel driving system, Subaru can help you avoid accidents altogether. The added safety of full-time all-wheel drive, #1 in crash tests. No wonder the competition keeps beating the...
You're watching ESPN Classics presentation of the Martinez-Clemens duel from May 28, 2000.
High above Yankee Stadium, the view of what has been the house of thrills tonight from the gum-out aerial cam. And now Pedro Martinez, the successor to Roger Clemens. Clemens has won more Cy Young awards, emblematic of pitching magnificence, than any pitcher in history. But at 37 years old, Clemens was brilliant for 27 batters, and then an infield hit and the home run. And now Pedro, the 28-year-old Pedro Martinez, tries to wrap up yet another win. Martinez carries a 1.06 earned run average. That's earned runs per 9 innings into this inning. And the Yankees need 2 runs to stay alive as Knobloch takes a strike. That was the 111th pitch thrown by Pedro. The most he's thrown in a game this year is 130 in one of his losses. He lost 1-0 to Tampa Bay. Off the glove of Veritek. 0-2 the count to Knobloch. Trot Nixon. Peter Pasquarelli made a sign after that home run by Trot Nixon. The sign said, "Nixon's the one."
And that's true if you're a Red Sox fan. I think that's the way they feel right now. But Pedro has to finish it off. It's not over yet.
Knobloch is hit. That's not the way he wanted to get aboard. But that's not what Pedro wanted to have happen with a 2-run lead. And the big guys coming up, Jeter, O'Neill, and Williams. He had an 0-2 count on him, and he hit him.
Well, that's what we talk about. A lot of times, you know, they talk about pitchers hitting guys. You know Pedro didn't want to hit him. He looked like he was just trying to throw a fastball. It sailed away. He was trying to throw a fastball in. It got up and away. And he hits Knobloch.
Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach, looking on from the dugout. Jeter, the hitter, the possible tying run. He's had an infield single and a blue double tonight. He's also struck out. He jammed him with a fastball. It's foul.
That's the pitch he was actually trying to throw to Knobloch there. 0-2, run the fastball in.
Chuck Knobloch, the first Yankee to reach base since a 2-out 5th-inning single by Ricky Leday. Pedro had retired 10 straight Yankees since then. But Knobloch is aboard. 0-1 to Jeter. Base hit!
As I said, John, this one's not over yet.
Here comes Jimmy Williams. He's got Derek Lowe ready in the bullpen.
Well, it's a fastball away, and Derek Jeter does a great job of just slapping it the other way for a base hit. And the Yankees have the tying runs aboard. Well, I think what we're doing here, you see Jimmy Williams, he's going to go out and look Pedro in the eyes, and he wants to know, what do you think? Because here, this is a situation where I think that a lot of times a manager will say, I'm going to take you out, although he's not going to take him out. There are times during the year where a manager will say, you pitched great, I'm not going to let you lose this ball game. I'm only going to take you out and give you a chance to win it, and you've got your stopper low in the bullpen. But he has so much confidence in Pedro that he's going to leave him in, and I'm sure Pedro looked him in the eyes and said, I'm okay.
Sports Center right after the game. Stay tuned. Paul O'Neill, like Roger Clemens, 37 years old. Now he tries to rise to the occasion again. 2 men on, nobody out. He is 0 for 3 tonight. 0-1.
Well, that's a great pitch there. But I tell you what, it's tough to have to get Paul O'Neill out this many times in this many clutch situations, John. I mean, he is a smart hitter. He's a pretty good guy that he knows what he's doing up there. And you see what Pedro's numbers. Only 4 base hits. He's still throwing well. That ball just tied Paul O'Neill up.
Nobody from the number 3 hitter, the number 3 hitter O'Neill, through the number 6 hitter has been on base for the Yankees tonight. Foul on the first base side. It is 0-2. O'Neill is 0 for 3. Bernie Williams, Jorge Posada, Tino Martinez. They're all 0 for 3. All 4 of them. All left-handed swingers and all hitless tonight against Pedro Martinez. There's Bernie on deck, the Yankees' RBI leader this year. O'Neill with 4 hits in 26 lifetime at-bats against Pedro Martinez. He's hit a double play ball and has struck out twice tonight. Knobloch and Jeter the runners. Fought it off back into the upper deck. Older brother Ramon feeling this. The big ballpark in the Bronx. A classic has been unfolding through the night. And how could Jimmy Williams do anything but let Pedro finish in what may end up being one of those legendary games that we'll be talking about for years. 0-2. And strikeout number 9 for Pedro Martinez.
You know what? Maybe when Jimmy Williams came out there, Pedro just got mad. I mean, he got mad at Jimmy for coming out. And, I mean, he has showed us tonight that, I mean, when the runners are on scoring position, he gets tougher. He's not striking out a lot of hitters like he normally does, but in clutch situations tonight, he has been able to reach back and strike out the hitters that he's needed to strike out.
Now Bernie Williams, the Yankees cleanup hitter. He's their home run and RBI leader. Tonight, 0 for 3. And the count 0-1. Bernie has popped up to short, popped up to third, and popped up a fly ball to center.
And he's pitching Bernie and Paul O'Neill exactly the same way. He's trying to tie them up inside to keep them from extending out and being able to pull that ball to right field. Back inside.
Down the right field line. Into the corner. It is caught in front of the wall by Trot Nixon. Nixon is again the one. Knobloch to third after tagging up. Bernie fell a little bit short of that fabled home run porch at Yankee Stadium.
Well, actually, John, that was just a ballpark scare because he jammed him really nice. He got the fastball in. As I said, he's trying to keep him from extending. Watch, this fastball gets in. He actually breaks his bat in there. And that ball is inside, and he knows that it's down the line, but he didn't get much of it. He got jammed. That was just a great pitch.
Well, they all may wish that this was back into the configuration in the days of Ruth and Mantle and Maris when it was 296 feet down the right field line.
Well, again, that was just a ballpark scare. That was a great pitch by Pedro.
Jorge Posada having a great year. A magnificent game for him tonight, working with Roger Clemens. Now he needs to do it with the bat. And he takes aim at that home run porch.
Well, he's aimed at a 96-mile-an-hour fastball right there, too, John.
Pedro obviously has plenty left.
Well, he definitely did on that, but I think Pedro can, as they say, see the goal line. I think he's going to reach back and give you what he's got left.
Looking for his 3rd complete game of the year. His 2nd shutout, if he can get it. Knobloch at 3rd, the first Yankee to reach 3rd tonight.
That's it. He's just going to reach back and say, okay, I'm going to give you what I got left. See if you can catch up with this high fastball. And there's a 96, now 94. He only needs one more of those.
Pedro has thrown 13 pitches in this inning, 12 strikes. The only one out of the strike zone was the one that hit Knobloch. Knobloch at third, Jeter the possible tying run at first, Jeter running. The throw down. He's in there. And now a base hit to the outfield to tie the game.
And that's a smart base running play, a smart play by Joe Torre and Derek Jeter. Because Pedro Martinez wasn't concerned with Jeter right there. All he wanted to do was throw that last fastball by Posada. And he threw it hard, but he did not get the strike. Look, I think you've seen Pedro, he just reaching back and said, all right, this is what I have left. I'm not going to lose this on an off-speed pitch. I'm not going to lose it by hanging something. So he was just trying to throw a strike or get Posada to chase something. Very close play at second, except Garcia-Parra did not make the catch.
So when Bertek's throw kind of tailed away and low, knocked down over there by Garcia-Parra. There is Knobloch and the possible tying run over at second, Derek Jeter. But Posada with 2 strikes against Pedro Martinez. 2 down.
And that's all he's doing.
He's still giving it the big rip up there.
Yeah, he is. But Pedro saying, I'm coming after you. If you want to hit me, you go ahead and hit this big fastball. The one thing that he didn't do with that pitch, he didn't get it up. I think he wants to throw the fastball about letter high and just turn it loose.
Pedro with 10 strikeouts or more 6 times in his first 9 starts. In this one, he's got 9 strikeouts. 2 on, 2 out, 2-0 Boston. That hit him. The second hit batsman of the inning with 2 strikes. And now Tino Martinez with a chance to be the hero for the Yankees.
Well, I think Posada is just upset when he got hit because I know he doesn't feel like Pedro was throwing at him. He's trying to throw the fastball up. He wants to throw this fastball up for strike 3 up and in, and Posada can't get out of the way. It hits him on his left elbow.
Scoring runs have been a problem for the Yankees all season long, particularly lately. They have not been able to score one tonight, and now their best chance as they are on the brink of extinction in this game. And Tino Martinez, he was a World Series hero in 1998. 0-1.
You know what I didn't understand, John, is he kept throwing from the stretch there with Posada, and I didn't understand why he didn't go to the windup after Jeter stole second base. Now he's going to the windup here with Tino Martinez at the plate. I thought he should have gone to the windup against Posada.
Tino hit one deep to right his last time. Has also flied out twice to center from the windup. Right to second. Foul. He double clutched and got him anyway. Wow.
Wow is right.
What happened?
John, I broadcast a game 2 weeks ago with Kevin Brown and Randy Johnson, and I thought that was a great ball game, and it was. Both of them pitched great. But tonight's game, these guys they were magnificent, both of them, and it was just a bad situation that Roger made one bad pitch, and it cost him.
Those historic rivals, the Red Sox and Yankees, at the historic ballpark, and an historic matchup. 2 of the very best in the game.
And John, after he got the runners on base, he didn't throw anything but a fastball. He went to all fastballs, no changeup. And you see Fry, I don't know what happened. I guess he didn't have a good grip on it. And then he made the throw. Here's Ramon. He said, yes, we got it. But, I mean, he just reached back after he got the runners on base. He just reached back and threw all fastballs. He gave them everything he had left, and it was enough.
So they gave us a night to remember. Baseball's version of a night to remember. And Pedro Martinez, at 28 years of age, is the one who had just enough left with 2 down in the 9th to beat the 37-year-old Clemens, who could not get that final out and preserve the shutout. We'll see you next Sunday. SportsCenter is next. Good night from New York.
This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.